go for a sweep and a 5-game winning streak today on Fox Sports Kansas City. Hey, it doesn't matter whether it's April the 6th or September the 6th, does it? First place is first place, and that's where the Royals are today with a game-and-a-half lead over Chicago and Cleveland. They played 25 innings in their last 2 games, and after playing 12 innings last night, the Royals and the White Sox go at it again this afternoon. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. I'm Ryan Lefevre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. And no matter what happens today, the Royals will have a successful opening homestand and a thrilling opening homestand.
Well, you're right, Ryan. With this start the Royals had this year in 2011, he's created a ton of excitement with the fans, and you got a very excited and happy bunch of guys on the field.
Let's review the 4 wins for the Royals. Remember, they almost had a walk-off on opening day. They did have one on Friday.
Well, they definitely did. They got it all going for the Royals after losing opening day, and this really is where the excitement started, and that's where the belief started with this team, and it just carried over in the next few games that they played in the series.
They were down by 1 in the 8th inning on Saturday.
Well, Chris Guest got it all going, and Matt Trainer gets a big base hit to right field to play the run there.
And then Trainer came back on Sunday in the 13th inning.
So the first walk-off home run of his career, a 3-run shot. They put the Royals on top, and everybody goes home.
And then the Royals were down early last night, and this is what happened in the 12th.
Well, kind of a tug-of-war throughout this game, but Malcolm Cabrera comes up in the 12th inning and gives the Royals a big win with a base hit up the middle.
So 4 consecutive wins in their last at-bat. The Royals are leading the league, hitting with 2 outs. They have the second most RBI with 2 outs. And the bullpen, we can go on and on about them, but 4 bullpen wins. They have the second best bullpen ERA in the American League. A couple of veterans out there today. Mark Burley will be making his 46th career start against the Royals and going up against Jeff Francis, who pitched great against the Angels, a no decision on Friday. Royals baseball is brought to you today by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. Jeff Francis did not win on Friday against the Angels, but he should have. He gave up 1 run in 7 innings.
Well, what Jeff Francis did, Ryan, he used his fastball in on hitters, and that sets up his next 2 best pitches, his curveball and his changeup, and that's a good indication right there.
Here's the White Sox lineup that he will face today. Adam Dunn had an emergency appendectomy after the game last night, so Juan Pierre will be the designated hitter. He'll lead off, and taking his spot in left field will be Lastings Millage. Ramon Castro is behind the plate. A.J. Pierzynski gets the game off. Royals are going up against Mark Burley. He's 10 games above 500 in his career against the Royals, but he had a losing record against the Royals last year.
Well, he did, Ryan. The Royals made some adjustments to him, and when that cutter's not working, you can get to Mark Burley, but he helps himself not only because he can pitch, but he also has a great pickoff move to first base.
And he'll have to be careful with Melky Cabrera, who hits better than 500 against Burley. And Melky had a 2-run game-tying hit last night, and then the game winner in the 12th inning. It's the Royals and the White Sox, and the first pitch is next. Definition brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Let's go out to right field, and here's Joe Goldberg.
All right, I'm out here in right field, Ryan, and Jeff Francoeur is right in front of me. He said yesterday that in the middle of this live report he went to wave to me, and I didn't wave back, so we'll see if he returns the favor, and maybe he's got like a baseball game to play. Let's talk about Jeff Francis. I asked Brian Pena about him. He said, I can't talk about him. He said Jeff is really superstitious, doesn't like to talk about his game at all before he gets going. He knows the game so well, Jeff Francis, but when it comes time to meeting and talking about the scouting report, he doesn't say a word, doesn't like to say much on game days. No wave, guys. I guess he left me hanging today.
He's got his game face on. He's locked in. A strike to Juan Pierre, although, you know, Joe brings up a good point. Because there is so much media in the game today and so many guys wanting to learn about the players and what they do, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses is. A lot of times players will give a lot of information away.
Well, you know, we talked about it too, Ryan, earlier, that you do read a lot into what pitchers are trying to do when they go into the game, and you go into the game trying to establish your fastball, and all of a sudden you get ambushed and you wonder what the heck happened. So I think the less said, the better.
1 run allowed in 7 innings. That was against the Angels on Friday. He gave up a home run to Torrey Hunter in the top of the 1st inning, and then that was it. Royals ended up winning that game in the bottom of the 9th inning on Keila Kaihue's home run. So Francis gets around a potential distraction, retiring Juan Pierre, and now he's no balls and 2 strikes on Gordon Beckham.
I think one of the questions they get when you win or lose a ball game as a pitcher, the writers come in and say, well, what were you trying to do? You know, I would say, hey, I was trying to win. And I'd let it go. I wouldn't give away anything at all in my pitching strategy.
Another ground ball and another out. Beautiful day. The sun is shining on Kauffman Stadium, and it's shining on the Royals with a 4-1 start. Final game of the homestand, and we have 69 degrees at first pitch, which was at 1:10. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot at KCI. So we have really lucked out in this opening homestand. The only really cold game that we had was maybe the second half of opening day on Thursday. Last 3 or 4 innings, the wind started coming out of the north. Temperature dropped, the sun went down. Other than that, it's been very pleasant.
The next road trip should be interesting. Detroit, Minneapolis.
That's one way to put it. Now 3 balls, no strikes on Alex Rios, who is breathing a little easier today. He was 0 for 12 in the Cleveland series over the weekend, but he had 2 hits last night. 3-1, says home plate umpire and crew chief Jerry Lane. Down around the end of the bat, it's a long run for Alex, and he gets there. A quick top of the 1st for Francis. Season for the Royals at 4-1. Here's Ned Yost lineup today. Mike Aviles, Melky Cabrera, Alex Gordon, Billy Butler, Keila Kaihue, Jeff Francoeur, and Alcides Escobar. Brian Pena behind the plate with Francis on the mound and Chris Getz. All to face left-hander Mark Buehrle. He won on Friday at Cleveland. He did give up 4 runs, 8 hits in 6 innings, but you talk about run support. In the 4th inning, Mark Buehrle had a 14-0 lead. The White Sox bullpen had some problems late. Cleveland ended up scoring 10 runs, and it was a 15-10 game. Mike Aviles Into right field, Carlos Quinton is there for the out. Mark Buehrle is going for his 150th career victory today and his 22nd career win against the Royals. He has made 47 appearances against KC, and when you look at the Royals lineup today, it's interesting. It's a collection of a few hitters who have seen a lot of Mark Buehrle. Mike Aviles, that was his 29th at bat. This is Melky Cabrera's 15th. Alex Gordon has 23. Billy Butler has 45. But then 4 of the next 5 hitters in the lineup have never faced Buehrle before.
I'm sure they've got the scouting reports, and they said, well, just be alive for the cutter. That's his pitch. He keeps it around the belt. He can get in on the hands of the right-handed hitters just like that, break bats, but got a base hit.
Melky muscles it into left center field. He was thinking about 2, and he holds with a 1-out single. So 4 hits in the series for Melky Cabrera, and he drove in 3 last night, including the game winner.
You know, we talked about that cutter he likes to throw, and he does break a lot of bats. And right about the waistline there, the bat breaks, but he gets out front enough and he's strong enough to get it over the infield. You can hear that back track way up here.
But a major league hitter will trade a bat for a hit
anytime.
And now Alex, who had 3 extra base hits last night, including a home run trying to bunt his way on, not only had a good day at the plate, but a good day with the leather.
This is one of the greatest plays last night. I mean, go to the line like that and don't even get that back in, but keep your body even falling up toward the left field foul line and make a perfect one-hop throw to second and hold a runner at first. That was an outstanding play in a 12th inning last night.
No balls, 2 strikes. Alex hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the first last night, which was huge for the Royals and for Luke Hochevar. Luke had allowed 4 in the top of the first. So the Royals answered with 2 in the first, 2 more in the second, and just like that, they tied the game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Alex hit .375 through the first 5 games, and that's after going 0 for 5 on opening day. He has 1 home run and 4 doubles. And there's the Mark Buehrle move. One of the choices today in our Fox Hot Watch was that the Royals would have 2 or more stolen bases, which isn't a stretch considering the way they've been running early this season. But Mark Buehrle, he has a way of shutting down the running game. Driven to left field. Millage started in, and he can't recover. Melky to third. He'll be waved home. And Alex Gordon has another double, and the Royals lead 1-0.
I talked with Jeff Francoeur and Billy Butler before the game on, and they said they're so excited for Alex and how he's got off to a great start. But when you hit line drives right at outfielders, sometimes that 1 or 2 steps in really makes a big difference. And the way Alex has been hitting the ball, that ball just kept carrying. And lastly, Millage had no chance to catch up with this ball once he came in on those 2 steps.
Nice easy swing down in the count, 1 and 2. Didn't try and pull it.
And that's what everybody's been noticing about him. But you know, the whole clubhouse right now is just excited that he's off to a great start.
That is his 4th RBI, 3rd in this series. And now Billy Butler trying to bring him home. Billy drove in 2 last night. He tied the game in the 8th inning with a home run. He had 12 RBIs last year against the White Sox. There's the changeup, and Buehrle's ahead 1 and 2. .45 at bat, so Billy knows Buehrle and Buehrle knows Billy. 2 of those 14 hits have been home runs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the Royals trying a little different approach today, scoring early. Only time they've had the lead early in the game this season was on Sunday. They had a 5-0 lead at the end of 2. The Angels ended up coming back and tying the game late, and then the Royals won in 13. Billy lays off the cutter, and the count is full.
Well, sure, it makes it a lot easier when you do score some runs early in the game, and you don't have to always say that 7th, 8th, 9th we can turn it on, because it's not really like a water faucet. You got to get them when you can get them. So anytime you catch a pitcher not on his best game, first inning on through, you got to take advantage.
Up the middle, that's into center. That got some of the mound, so that takes a lot of the steam out of the base hit. And Alex scores easily from second base, and the Royals lead 2-0.
Right back through the middle, hit the ball where it's pitched. Mark Burley stays away the majority of the time. He just goes right with the pitch, and he's lucky they didn't hit him on the ankle, but hitting that mound really helped Alex Gordon and being able to score on this base hit.
So Gordon and Butler driving in the runs in the first inning, and that brings up AT KCA. I would think that this would be a good time to face Mark Burley. A long game last night, a quick turnaround. The umpire says play ball, but your body is saying something different. And you got a guy who's working quickly, throwing strikes, going to move the game along. I think that's exactly what you want in a day game after a night game.
I agree with that. And he probably went home and got a good night's sleep while they were playing 12 innings last night. I doubt if he stayed till the end, but everybody appreciates a guy that works quick, and especially on day games.
And Jeff Francis, the same, is a quick worker, and he had a quick top of the first. Keela almost leaned into one. This is Keela's first career at bat against Burley. 0 for 4 last night. The White Sox struck him out 3 times. Laid off a close pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's his first strikeout. In fact, that's Burley's first strikeout of the season. He didn't have one single strikeout in 6 innings on Friday against the Indians. And that'll bring up Jeff Francoeur. 2 hits last night. Seems like everything he put in play was hit hard. Off to a .318 start. And this is his first at bat against Burley. 0-1.
Yeah, I talked to Jeff before the game, and he's really excited about the way the team is playing right now, Ryan. He said the thing that really excites him is the fact that he gets to try to steal bases. He said those years in Atlanta, the only guy that was allowed to run was Foucault, the shortstop. And he says it's nice to be a part of the overall scheme of the game itself.
It's interesting. Pitchers with good moves, normally they pick off guys who aren't a threat to run. Remember Bob McClure told me that a few years ago, that the base stealers are usually more alert over there, and guys that don't run very often, they'll take a short lead, and whether they mean to or not, this will lose their concentration, and guys like Mark Burley will prey on them as opposed to the burners.
That makes a lot of sense too. You get over there and get flat-footed, and you're not going anywhere, and they do take advantage of you.
So a fast worker, a great move to first base. He's also an excellent fielding pitcher, and last year he won his 2nd Gold Glove. Billy a little quicker to respond on that move. Mark Burley is 32 years old. This is his 12th season in the big leagues. To Ramirez and over to Beckham for the force. The Royals get 2 in the first. With 1 out, Melky Cabrera gets a broken bat base hit. Gordon drives one home with a double. Butler with a single. Inning, we remind you to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in today's game. Billy Butler driving in one of the 2 runs. Alex Gordon the other. Jeff Francis had a quick 10-pitch first inning. He'll get Paul Konerko, Carlos Quentin, and Alexi Ramirez. And Konerko pops it up to shallow left field. Alex really fighting the sun and trying to angle his body away from the glare. And Konerko is out on 1 pitch. Here's today's fans video question of the day.
Hi, I'm Julie, and we have one more question for the guys upstairs. Why are the bullpens switched this year?
Well, that's a good question. And it's a question that has been asked quite a bit. Now, in the old days, this is the way most bullpens were set up, that the bullpens were across the dugouts, so that the dugout could look directly into the bullpen. And then modern technology with telephones, and then they just wanted everybody on one side. And some stadiums were designed where you could actually walk through the guts of the stadium and get to the clubhouse without having to go on the field. Another issue that the Royals were having that they won't have this year is at night games during the summer when the sun would set. Diving attempt by Alex, but he trapped it. But when the sun would set off to the left field side, it would go right into that bullpen, and it is a black painted bullpen, so the Royals don't have to worry about it anymore. The visitors do.
Well, you hate that heat coming in on you late in the afternoon like that, but we take a look at Alex and Foxmo here. The good thing he did right there, Ryan, is when the ball hit the ground, he dropped his glove down and gave the ball somewhere to go. If he kept it straight, the ball would have went right over his arm and all the way back to the wall.
A little bit low to Alexi Ramirez. One for 4 last night with a triple, a run scored, and an RBI. Good changeup away. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is Jeff Francis' 3rd career start against the White Sox. 0-1 in the first 2, and he hasn't faced them since 2008. So a lot of who he faced in 08, they're gone. In fact, Paul Konerko is probably the only guy still around. Maybe Alexi Ramirez.
Jeff really likes the aggressive hitters. You know, he doesn't have the same fastball, so his changeup and his slider and his curveball are the pitches. But the more aggressive the hitter is, the better a guy like Jeff Francis will be.
Line to left field. Alex to the corner to cut it off. Quentin to third. That's where Alex throws, and Quentin is out. And the Royals defense comes up with another big play.
I mean, how similar is this play to last night? The only last night's throw went to second base, but Alex got on this ball, and I really believe it's been an infield. It really helps his footwork, and it helps him get rid of this ball. I mean, his arm strength, his accuracy has just been right on, and this gets Carlos Quentin by a lot. The only thing you'd like to see is see Michael on the other side and not have Carlos Quentin slide, between him and the ball like that. Just get on the other side where the throw's coming from and tag that way.
Ramirez goes to second on the throw. And a strike on Lasting's Millage. So instead of second and third and one out, Ramirez is at second with 2 outs. One ball, one strike.
And just watch the footwork here. Really just comes up and everything's off that back leg, and it just one hop throw right to Michael Belis at third base. I mean, they're probably just not used to a guy getting to the ball that fast, but he's shown last night he can really move that direction.
I remember when Johnny Damon played here, and everybody knew that Johnny didn't have a very strong arm, but not many people ran on Johnny because he got to the ball so quickly. And that's how he compensated for the weak arm.
And that's how you control your coaches on the line, by getting to the ball quickly. As soon as you get to the ball, they got those hands up. But if you don't get to the ball and get in a good position to fill that ball, then they keep those runners running. But that's right in front of Carlos Quentin there. He can see all that coming together. And it's up to him to make it at that point.
Just inside. 2-2 on Millage. Millage was the Mets' first-round pick back in 2003. Got to the big leagues in 2006. On the corner. So a big play on defense, and Francis gets his first strikeout. Two 2-0 Royals. Alcides Escobar will lead off against Mark Burley. Alex Gordon and Billy Butler driving in the runs in the first. Escobar 1 out of 5 last night with a stolen base, a 2-out double steal with Matt Trainer, and stealing third with a left-hand batter at the plate, so that caught the Sox off guard and ended up being a big play because with runners at second and third, a single scored 2. And then in the top of the 12th inning, he made a fantastic play at short.
Well, he definitely joined the parade of defense, and everything is contagious in this game, and you won't see a better play than that one last night.
Now Beckham goes to the middle and throws out Escobar, one away. Here's today's Sprint You Call It question. What is the Royals' most exciting win so far? Keela's walk-off on Friday. Chris Getz driving in the run on Saturday in the 8th. Matt Trainor's walk-off in the 13th, or Melky Cabrera in the 12th last night. Text 432-432. The key word is Royals, a space, and then A, B, C, or D. And you can enter for a chance to win a suite here at Kauffman Stadium by participating today. A suite for you and 11 guests. How about that deal? So you'll send in your text. You'll get a bounce back text message from Sprint with all the directions. 2 up, 2 down, and now Chris Getz, Burley's former teammate in Chicago. He has not faced him since joining the Royals. There was a time when Mark Burley was much tougher on right-hand hitters than left-hand hitters. I told you Burley is a great fielder. He fields the bunt and just ran alongside Getz and threw him out. Royals baseball is brought to you by AT KCA, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread. Taste the difference freshness can make with Panera Catering. Order online now at panera-kansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealer. Ramon Castro lifts it towards the right field line. One pitch, one away. We invite you to email the booth today with any question you may have regarding the Royals. Go to carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, CarSoup will ask for your zip code. Once you fill that in, you will be sent to a different page and then submit your question. Ball one outside to Brent Morrell. 1 for 5 last night. He made a great play on defense at third base on a line drive from Jeff Francoeur. For 3 straight years, he was regarded by many as the best defensive third baseman in the White Sox system, and he showed that last night.
That was an outstanding leaping catch of a line drive.
That's line to center, but right at Cabrera. So first time through for the White Sox. Just a pair of singles against Francis.
You can see that he's really dependent a lot on his changeup, Ryan. His changeup goes down and gets you to reach a little bit, and he really does a good job keeping you out off the fat part of the bat. And even though that ball was hit well there, the changeup normally going to turn over and get you to hit a ground ball.
A strike to Juan Pierre. Aviles and Keela were already in, and now Aviles a couple more steps in on the left side. Juan Pierre, a very good bunter. And he hits the curveball to Chris Getz. White Sox down on 7 pitches in the 3rd inning. This is Anna Nunu sitting in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat at today's game. And we'll tell you about her as Mike Aviles takes ball 1 after discovering triathlon training as a means of her own self-improvement. Anna created Grow Overcome Triathlon, or Go Try. That encourages all women in Southeast Kansas who want to improve their physical and mental health. Off of Ramirez's glove and then ankle, and Mike Aviles is safe at first.
You really hate to see this when you're a pitcher. You get a routine ground ball and the ball goes right off the heel of Alexi Ramirez's glove, and you lose a ground ball and an out right there. So you have to go after another hitter. Extra pitches don't always bode well for the starter.
By the way, Anna was honored by the Women's Intersport Network, or WIN, for Kansas City. WIN for KC for her example and unselfish vision to help numerous women overcome challenges and achieve personal goals. Congratulations, Anna. Hope you're enjoying the game. With 1 out in the 1st inning, Melky Cabrera singled against Burley, scored on Alex Gordon's double, and then Billy Butler with a single drove in Gordon. And the bottom of the 2nd inning last night, Melky drove in 2 runs to tie the game, and then he won it in the 12th. And here he rolls into a 6-4-3 double play. So Burley picks up his defense, and that erases the base runner. Doesn't erase the air, but it wipes away Mike Aviles.
This is also the 2nd bat that Burley's been able to break at Cabrera. That cutter's really getting in on him and forcing him to hit a weak ground ball to short that was turned into a double play. But that's what happens when good pitchers pick you up when you make a mistake on defense, and that's what you like to see. Don't let the game get away from them. Don't let the inning get away.
Not only did Alex Gordon drive in a run with a double in the first inning, but he had an excellent at bat, falling behind 1 ball 2 strikes, and then going to the opposite field and doubling over the head of Lasting's Millage. Burley tried to tie him up. 1 ball 1 strike.
They did 2 things in this at bat so far, Ryan. That first pitch curveball really just took Alex out of his swing, and then he comes right back in under his hands with a fastball. That's a little bit different tactic this at bat. That pitch also inside.
Millage did not make a good play in left field, resulting in Alex's double, and then Alex did make a good play in the top of the 2nd inning, throwing out a runner at second base, and now he's down to first with a 2-out walk.
You can see here the ball's away. He stays on top of it and hits the line drive that Lasting Millage misjudged and went over his head. And Alex is showing you his quickness on defense too. Then he gets to the line, then he picks Carlos Quinn up trying to go to third base from first base on that ball down the line. He's really playing well on both ends of the baseball.
Long run in for Morel, and he's able to throw out Billy Butler. So the Royals are scoreless in the 3rd. They lead 2-0. Is back to work in the top of the 4th inning. He has given up 2 singles to the White Sox. That's all. Royals have played good defense behind him. No walks, 1 strikeout. He's forcing the White Sox to put the ball in play. He'll get Gordon Beckham, Alex Rios, and Paul Konerko. Beckham grounded out to third base his first time up. 3 balls, no strikes. And a 4-pitch walk. Here's today's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison, and a very good comparison. Left-hand pitchers that rely more on changing speeds and lighting up the radar gun. Both have topped out at 88 miles per hour. Now fast is even faster. Double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. There's a strike to Alex Rios. Francis got Rios to fly out to left field in the first inning. Not Francis's best move, but keeping Beckham close over at first. Jeff Francis was called for a balk on Friday against the Angels. Little better move. White Sox last year were second in the American League in stolen bases, and we're just getting started this year, but White Sox have only stolen 2 bases. Off the knuckles, and it floats over Getz. So Beckham goes first to third, and the White Sox have runners at the corners with nobody out.
Well, he made a good pitch here, Ryan. He actually broke the bat, got in and jammed him. But the power of the swing, the bat speed of the swing takes it over, gets hit at second base. You can see where the first pitch was, right on the outside corner, and that second pitch got up and in. So he set him up good for that pitch to get that broken bat, but just didn't get the out.
And now Paul Konerko. He had a 3-run home run in the first inning last night. He has an 11-game hitting streak against the Royals. He has a 3-game home run streak against the Royals. Francis starts him off with a strike. Konerko flied to left in the second inning. He is a double play candidate. 0-2. Next homestand for the Royals will feature a Buck Night and Fireworks Friday. That's April the 15th. The Royals take on the Mariners at 7:10. Hot dogs, small Pepsi products, and peanuts are available for just $1. And then after the game, a great fireworks show presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Royals will be on the road for about a week, beginning on Friday, going to Detroit and then Minnesota, and will come home to face Seattle and Cleveland. Both of those are 4-game series. This is a very odd month of April. First of all, you have opening day on a Thursday. The Royals begin the season with a 4-game series, now a 2-game series with Chicago. They'll have another 2-game series on the road at Minnesota, and then back-to-back 4-game series on the next homestand. Struck him out. Konerko was not ready for a fastball, so he was very late with that swing. And Francis has his second strikeout.
Well, this is what happens when you pitch in and out of the strike zone. The first one in down the middle, then he goes down and in, then he goes out away. So just mixing it up really well in the strike zone, so hitters can't really sit in one area. I mean, you look at all the off days too in such a short period of time in April.
4 off days in 1 month. Foul back and out of play in the month of August, right in the dog days of the season. The Royals have 2 days off. Royals will play August 2nd through the 21st without an off day. But I'm sure it'll be nice and cool here in Kansas City during that time. 70 degrees, little breeze out of the north, right?
That's what it was when I played. It seemed like it was always 2 off days in August, and you just had to be ready.
Got the outside corner, 0-2 on Quinton. He has hit safely in each of the White Sox games this year. This is their 5th, and he reached with a single in the second inning, but tried to go first to third on Ramirez's single, and Alex Gordon threw him out. Rios last year at 34 stolen bases.
Yeah, the White Sox would love to keep Quinton healthy for a whole season. He always had injury problems, hit by pitch a lot. Top 3 in hit by pitches last year. And that kind of hurts him being on the field. I mean, he's always out with some reason. He got hit on the wrist a couple times and just hit by pitch a lot.
The numbers are just out of sight. And it goes back to his days when he was in college. Carlos Quentin has the NCAA record. He was hit 5 times in one game and 38 times in a season. They play 56 games in college. He was hit 38 times. Walked by Pena, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Then he went to the minor leagues. And in consecutive seasons, Quentin set the league record for being hit by a pitch. 28 one year, 31 the next. And then in the big leagues, he had a stretch where he was hit by a pitch in 6 straight games.
That's a magnet. That's definitely a ball magnet there.
And there's only really one way to survive being that close to the plate. You have to have quick hands. And Kevin Seitzer worked with Carlos Quentin in Arizona when Seitz was their batting coach. And Kevin said he has some of the quickest hands he has ever seen. That's saying a lot. Kevin's been around a lot of good hitters.
Well, he does. The numbers kind of prove it out. And when he's healthy, his numbers definitely take a big jump the other way.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Quentin hit 187 last April. And now he's off to a 471 start this year with 8 hits and 17 at bats. Gordon Beckham started the inning with a walk, and Rios' single got Beckham over to third. So the White Sox had 2 on, nobody out for Paul Konerko, but Francis struck him out with only 3 pitches. Three balls, 2 strikes. So the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2. And now we'll keep an eye on Alex Rios to see if he takes off on this 3-2 pitch.
Well, if he takes off, I think it'll be late. Jeff Francis has done a pretty good job holding him close, and he doesn't want to get picked off in this situation.
He is running, and Quentin pops it up into shallow right. Beckham goes back to the bag, and he's going nowhere. A strong throw to the plate, but the second hop was a tricky one, and it hit Pena on the chest, but Jeff Francis was exactly where he needed to be, and there's no further advance.
Well, you like to see that as a catcher, Brian Pena's got to be looking down to see if he's coming, and once Beckham breaks, he doesn't know if he's coming or not. He's assuming he is, and that way you got to make sure you block that ball in front of you right there. See, he goes down, but there the ball comes up a little higher than he expects it to come up, and fortunately Jeff Francis was in the right spot.
So it's first and third, 2 outs. And now Francis has to get past Alexi Ramirez, who had a sharp single up the left field line in the second inning. That was the play where Alex Gordon ran over to the line and threw out Quentin, trying to go first to third. Curveball is in for a strike.
We talked about Jeff Francis's curveball, Ryan. You see it right here, just spins right out of it, and just outstanding sharpness to it. And Alexi Ramirez didn't really have a chance to even react to this curveball. They just tied him up on the inside part of the plate.
And back with a changeup.
Just in and out, in and out. That's all you have to do. In and out, keep them off speed. Changeup goes down and away. Looks like a fastball. Ramirez being an aggressive hitter. He says fastball, fastball, and never gets there.
That follow through hit Brian Pena on his left arm. Those two were teammates on the Cuban junior national team. Home plate umpire Jerry Lane calling timeout, giving Pena some time to recover, but Brian hardly flinched. Struck him out. Well, the White Sox had all the pieces on the table. They just couldn't put them together. The Royals and the Mariners will play at noon, and the Royals will be giving away a gray replica jersey. That's to the first 20,000 fans, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City. Saturday, April the 16th. Go to royals.com/promotions. So the White Sox just wasted an opportunity to get back into the game. They're only down by 2, but they had runners at first and third and nobody out. And a great job of pitching by Jeff Francis. We got 2 strikeouts and a fly out to shallow right field after the walk and the single. Keela struck out in the first inning, so the White Sox have pitched him well. He's 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts in the series. Jeff Francoeur will follow him, and then Alcides Escobar. Royals got their runs in the bottom of the first. Alex Gordon's double scored Melky Cabrera, and Billy Butler got Alex Gordon home with a single. Hit hard to left field, but it's right at Millage. 1 away. Every Sunday this year is Family Fun Day Sunday here at Kauffman Stadium. There will be live entertainment, face painters, a balloon artist, and much more before the game. Family Fun Day Sunday will feature an autograph session with select Royals alumni, so come out and experience the fun on Sundays. And the next Fun Day Sunday is April the 17th. Jeff Francoeur to right field, and he's 1 for 2.
Take a look at this pitch going down and away from him. It looks like he's definitely committed to hitting the ball the other way. This just happened to be off the end of the bat. It just stayed with it. Ball's going away, stayed with it, got him a base hit.
Alcides Escobar steps in, and before he does, catcher Ramon Castro was whistling down at third baseman Brent Morel. He wanted Morel to come in a few steps, thinking that Escobar might lay down a bunt. He grounded out to second in the second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Escobar's swing just a little bit long right now, Ryan. And I think it's working against him because it is long. Just need to get back to shortening it up a little bit, maybe trying to hit the ball the other way.
You know, Burley really surprised the league when he arrived on the scene. He was a 38th round draft pick in '99. He got to the big leagues in 2000. And when a lefty starts, it's pretty typical for a manager to put all of his right hand bats in there, unless your best hitter or best hitters are left-handed. And for a few years, managers were playing right into Burley's game, because that cut fastball is much more difficult on right-hand hitters than it is left-hand hitters. He's getting that cutter in on the hands and keeping the left side of the infield busy. Driven to deep left field and off the fence. Francoeur will be waved home. Millage hesitated on where he was going to throw. And Alcides Escobar gives the Royals a 3-0 lead.
When the hitter's struggling, a lot of times, Ryan, you put the hit and run on it, it really helps him here. And this is where he gets a pitch coming right into his swing, and it shows the little pop that he's got in his bat. Francoeur gets an excellent jump off first base. And from our vantage point, I thought this ball was going to be in the bullpen, but it hit the wall, and Francoeur never quit running. And there's happy Kevin Seitzer saying, way to go. You can see his influence on these hitters every day. It gets better and better.
Well, the Royals are sure looking a lot better than the White Sox on defense. And the White Sox did not communicate very well in left field. Millage picked that ball up at the base of the fence, and he didn't know where to throw. They might have had a shot for a play at the plate if he knew where he was throwing. Escobar comes around third, and Quinton's throw is up the line. Pena down to second. He will be out. Nope, missed on the tag, and Ozzie Guillen is going to argue. He should have been out. Really no argument from Alexei Ramirez. So Pena drives in his first of the year, and the Royals have another 2-run inning.
Hey, when you're tagging guys out, you got to put the glove on top of that foot. You see Quinn comes up and makes a strong throw to the plate, but Escobar has a good turnaround third and makes it pretty easy. But Castro's throw back to second base. You can see right here, hold the glove there. Make sure the umpire sees you put a tag on top of that ankle, not on the bottom of the foot, but he pulled it up too quick. And I tell you, Ryan, they have a second base umpire make a call like that in that situation. Now you got to take your hat off to him.
It's Hunter Wendelstedt, who whiffed on a call last night, but asked another umpire for help, and they got the call right. So the umpire hung in there longer than Ramirez did.
Yeah, I just don't understand why you see more and more infielders want to swipe tag rather than just go ahead and lay the tag right down on top of the ankle and get out of there. But if the ball beats you, a lot of times they assume if the ball beat them, and they're going to call them safe, but not all the time.
Chris Getz tried a drag bunt in the second inning. Didn't bunt it hard enough. Burley picked it off. And Getz was out. This time Getz goes to the opposite field. Pena will be held at third base. The Royals have 4 straight hits in the 4th inning. And runners at the corners with 1 out.
This time Chris didn't try to do too much. Burley got the pitch up and he just slapped it in the left field. Right now, you see lefties a lot of times do a little bit better against Burley than righties. And Chris Getz, after the failed bunt attempt, just says, hey, I'm going to go back to where I've been successful. And that's where he's been successful, hitting the ball that way.
Don Cooper out to chat with Burley and catcher Ramon Castro. We'll revisit today's sprint, you call it. What is the most exciting win so far? And 62% going with last night's game. In fact, the Matt Trainer walk-off in the 13th on Sunday, only 6% voted for that one. So Melky Cabrera getting the votes so far today. So here we go again. The Royals getting some runs in with base hits, but an area that they really need to improve is this one here. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. Just getting the runner home with a well-placed ground ball or a fly ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mike Aviles, and it seems like lately when those situations have come up, it's been Mike Aviles at the plate.
It kind of works that way sometimes, and it forces you to either get better and try to figure some things out, or it drives you nuts. But here Mike has a great opportunity. Last night came in with a big sacrifice bunt there in the 12th inning, and that was enough to lay your head down at night, not worry about the other at-bats before that. So here he has another opportunity to be a star again today.
That pitch may have been a ball, but fouled away by Aviles. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And it's said so often that major league hitter has to be mentally tough because of all the failure. And perfect example last night, Aviles with 5 very difficult at-bats. He hit into a double play, he struck out twice, but in his 6th plate appearance he helped set up the winning run.
Well, an outstanding bunt. But I think they say closers have to have short memories. I think hitters do too. I think once that at-bat's gone, it's gone. It's like making an error. You don't like it, you hope it doesn't hurt the team, but you keep thinking about that one. Here comes the next ball, and now you got 2 errors. So you got to have short memory and everything that's passed in this game.
Royals with 4 runs, 7 hits against Burley in less than 4 innings. On the ground, gets. They say he was tagged out. The throw is wide at first, so no double play, and the Royals get another run. And Getz says to his former teammate and friend Gordon Beckham, "I don't think you tagged me."
From my vantage point up here, it looked like there was some daylight between the glove and the body. Take a look right here.
Oh.
Sometimes the game can move pretty fast.
So Getz collects his 3rd RBI, and he is out on what will be scored a 4 unassisted fielder's choice. A strike to Melky Cabrera.
Well, you can see Chris Getz starts to put on the brakes right here, and you can just see right here Beckham momentum going so fast he goes right by him, and they actually missed on both ends of that play.
Aviles with his 2nd RBI. Said Getz with his 3rd RBI. Aviles gets the RBI. So this time around he gets the runner home from 3rd with less than 2 outs. And now Burley tangles with Melky Cabrera. He got Cabrera to ground into a double play in the 3rd, but in the 1st inning Melky singled and came around to score on Alex Gordon's double, and now Aviles has picked off a 1st. Royals get 3 and take a 5-0 lead. 2-0 lead in the first 4 innings.
Well, Ryan, it's really kind of nice to see Star to get some runs early, and they've been carrying the game into the 5th and the 6th, and everything's been happening late. So Jeff Francis today is definitely benefiting from some timely hitting and good offense from the Royals today.
Francis is doing everything right so far. He's had some easy innings, and he's had an inning like the 4th when the White Sox had runners at 1st and 3rd and nobody out, and he got out of it with a couple of strikeouts and a fly out to shallow right field. Lastings Millage struck out looking his first time. This was a good time for Ozzie Guillen to get Millage in the lineup. He had been 5 for 8 against Francis with 2 home runs. So Ozzie playing the matchups. Juan Pierre, the regular left fielder, is the designated hitter, still leading off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's a chance for you to get on the field at Kauffman Stadium for batting practice with the Royals alumni. On May the 14th, 10 former Royals will work with you. You have to be 25 years or older to participate. On the ground to 3rd, and Aviles throws out Millage. So leadoff man down. White Sox have only had 1 leadoff man on today.
You can see right here, Jeff Francis' curveball is really working well. It's coming up and just going straight down, and the hitters are hitting right on top of it, beating it right in the ground. And Mike comes up and makes a nice throw to first baseman Keila Kaihui.
Little high to Ramon Castro. On Friday against the Angels, Francis had a very impressive ground ball to fly ball ratio. Of the 21 outs he recorded in 7 innings, 17 were either on the ground or a strikeout, so only 4 outs in the air. 2 balls and 1 strike on Castro. The ratio is not as impressive so far today. However, the balls that the White Sox have elevated, none have been hit hard, with the exception of Brent Morel's line out to center field in the 3rd inning. So similar to what we were talking about last night, Luke Hochevar had a lot of fly ball outs, but not until the end of his outing were those fly balls hit hard. Aviles dives, but it's off of his glove, and Castro is at first base with 1 out.
We talked last night, Ryan, about when Jeff Francis pitches and when Bruce Chen pitches, the third baseman is going to get a lot of work and get a lot of balls to this fashion because they're going to put them in play on the ground, and then sometimes it's going to be hard. But you see right here, when you're playing third base, you only get 1 shot at a ball hit that hard to your left or right.
Nice save by Pena. It's only 4 hits for the White Sox in 4 1/3 innings. Brent Morel lined out to center field back in the 3rd. Two balls and no strikes. White Sox had been scoring early, and in their first 4 games, including last night, of the 30 runs they had scored, 24 came in the first 4 innings, and they got 4 in the first inning last night. Today, a string of zeros in the first 4 innings against Jeff Francis. So now what do? Now that strategy is out the window.
Well, he definitely didn't get ambushed in this one. So he's pitching both sides of the plate, mixing it up, and I think that's been the big benefit to him in this game.
Gets Escobar. Escobar leaps, and because of that, his throw is offline. So only 1 out on the play. Castro forced at second.
Well, you really hate to miss this double play here. I mean, this is a ball that Getz really throws a little bit more inside to Escobar than he was anticipating, so he never could get his feet back down in a throwing position, and did the best he could throwing over the runner, which he should be throwing through the runner in this situation here. But if he'd have just took his feet down, got his feet set, and made this throw down through the runner, he probably could turn that double play.
A strike on Juan Pierre. He has grounded out to Getz twice, and it's just 1 for 8 in the series. No balls, 2 strikes. And he is the DH partly today because Adam Dunn, the White Sox regular DH, had emergency appendectomy surgery after the game last night, so he's out for a while. Ryan Pena wanted somebody to look into the Royals dugout. Late swing and out of play.
There's a situation there where Juan Pierre at the plate, Michael Belis is playing in at third base, and when the count went to 2 strikes, they were trying to get his attention to tell him to back up.
Hung in there on the curveball, and Pierre drops it into right center field. Morel goes to third. So the inning could be over with the double play. Instead, 2 on with 2 out.
But Pierre just really hangs in there in this curveball. He just sort of waited till Francis let it go and just really just used his hands. Didn't get much body in that at all. And Francoeur came over. It was on the wrong foot. He wanted to make this throw to third base, but Escobar did a good job cutting this ball off and keeping Pierre at first base.
He's been watching Alex Gordon. Alex making that wrong foot throw from left field look so easy. So now Gordon Beckham. He becomes a dangerous hitter because the Royals feel like this inning could be over. This is bonus time for Chicago. Beckham is walked and grounded out to third base. Off to a good start. He is 8 for 18. Last year he batted just .216 in the first half. Threw a fastball right by him.
But 86 looks a lot harder after you throw that slow curveball and you throw that changeup.
Thought about it. 1-2. Beckham picked things up in the second half of the season. He batted .310. And he finished the year at .252, his second full season in the big leagues. Struck him out. So Francis has 5 scoreless innings on just 5 hits. Jeff Francis and Brian Pena talking over Francis's first 5 innings. Only given up 5 hits. He has walked 1, he has struck out 4, and he picked up his defense in the top of the 5th inning after they failed to turn a double play. So Francis now in 2 starts with the Royals has given up 1 run in 12 innings. Melky pulls it foul wide of third base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Francis got out of a 1st and 3rd, nobody out in the 4th, and then 1st and 3rd and 2 down in the 5th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Royals scored 2 in the 1st inning. Gordon and Butler driving in the runs, and then added 3 in the 4th. Escobar, Pena, and Aviles getting him home.
Jeff Francis doesn't look any different in this start than he did in his previous start. I mean, he's going to pitch his game. He mixes his fastball in and out. He uses his off-speed pitches very well. Curveball down underneath the swing of the right-handers, change up away. But he just changed. He doesn't stay in the same pattern, and I think that's what makes him effective.
Second hit for Melky Cabrera, his 5th of the series, and he wants 2. And he beats the throw from Millage. So more aggressive base running, and the Royals have a runner at second with nobody out.
Well, this is just a mindset right here. As soon as Cabrera hits this ball, he gets up on his bat to cut her in, but he gets it over Morel at third base and down the line. But when he leaves home plate, this is where you make this play at here. And he was nonstop going around first base. He definitely knew that he was going to go for 2 on this ball. So I think this Ned Yost and Doug Sisson just taking that fear away of making a mistake. You know, just stay aggressive, and as long as you're making good decisions where you won't hear from us. And these guys are really doing a good job of feeding off each other and picking good situations to be aggressive.
Alex Gordon doubled in a run, came around to score in the 1st inning, and he walked in the 3rd. Speaking of Doug Sisson, let's check in with Joel Goldberg.
Well, Ryan, I had a chance to talk to Jeff Cox, the White Sox third base coach, former Royals Academy member, about what he's seen from the Royals, their aggressiveness on the base paths. And he said he wanted to go back to his AAA managing days for the Montreal Expos. Every time players came up to him from AA, they were great base runners. They were aggressive. They understood the fundamentals of the game. The AA manager for the Expos at that point was Doug Sisson, the now Royals first base coach, also was a minor league coordinator for them at some point. And he said when these kids were in spring training, they all knew how to do it. By the way, guys, and you know that he always has some interesting tidbits, he doesn't like the word aggressive. He likes assertive instead. So he thinks the Royals so far have been assertive.
You know, Jeff Cox, when he was in the Royals system as a minor league manager, was known as a good base running coach. Burley has his 2nd strikeout, a former Royals minor league manager and Royals third base coach. Jeff Cox once had 68 stolen bases in the minor leagues.
He was an excellent base runner. We all learned from the same guy. Joe Tanner was our infield base running, bunting coach in the baseball academy. Did a great job of teaching.
Remember last night when Chris Sale came into the game in the 8th inning, a left-hander, and Ozzie Guillen wanted him to face Alec Gordon and Keila Kaihue, but in the middle of all that was Billy Butler, who had a 2-run home run off of Sale to tie the game at 6. Well, now Ozzie, with an open base, isn't going to give Billy a chance to hit against the left-hand pitcher he has intentionally walked. Here's today's AT trivia question. Who holds the Royals mark for the most game-winning RBIs in a single season? Let's see, are we in the allowed to guess mode now, or drilled to deep center? Back goes Rios, and he runs it down. Made that play look easy. Melky runs back to second to tag up. He'll go to third. So tough hitting luck for Keila. He hit it right on the nose, and that's the 2nd time today he is lined to the outfield.
Well, this ball's hit right here. I think Valkyrie really could go back to the bag and wait on this one here. He's going to score if he gets over his head, but he had to come all the way back and re-tag. Nice, easy catch by Rios. He goes all the way back to all, makes his catch real easy. He's going so hard, he had a hard time stopping it and getting the ball back to second base, but an outstanding play by Rios in center field.
Now Francoeur, foul just off the left field side.
I'm going to guess me.
Well, I know it's not me.
But I doubt it's me, but I'll guess me.
Let's see, who else would qualify in the house? Kevin Seitzer.
Well, the rules were different when I played for game winning RBI.
They were?
Yeah, I think we're a little different. I think if you got the base hit that put the team in the lead, no matter what point in the game it was, and never relinquished that lead.
I think it's the same now, isn't it?
I don't
think so.
Isn't it after 5 or something like that? I thought they changed that ruling at some point.
And what was a little odd about that, I mean, most of the time that makes sense, but you could drive in the first run of a 4-run inning in the first inning, and you win the game. You never give up the lead, but you win the game 12-10. Well, way back in the first inning, your first RBI was considered the game-winning RBI.
And I think at some point I thought they changed that a little bit, but it does make sense the way you said it, that it does make sense.
Right into Burley's glove, and the Royals lead 2 in the 5th inning. AT trivia question: who holds the Royals mark for the most game-winning RBIs in a single season? Frank guesses himself. Producer Kevin Shank gave us a hint. The top 5 are all before 1991. So you qualify in that department.
Well, you got
I threw Kevin Seitzer in there.
Seitz. You always got to put George in there. Amos Otis or Hal McRae.
We've named 2 of the top 5.
And Big John.
Big John Mayberry. He's in the top 5. Two and 2 on Alex Rios, who was singled and flied out. The White Sox have stranded 5 today and 4 in the last 2 innings. We just had a military flyover. That's a C something or other.
It's
right?
Cargo something.
Yep, that's what the C stands for, cargo. Right to Aviles. And Alex Rios is the first out. All right, we've got 3 of the top 5, but we don't have the top. I'm going to say Amos Otis. Danny Tartable. Amos Otis was second.
Danny Tartable, Bo Jackson.
You're not even on the list.
Hey,
Picking yourself?
yes, I was there.
I'm sorry, I gotta squint really hard to see. Where are you? But you know what? I like the fact that you were bold and
I was there, and I played a lot of games. So I was.
Paul Konerko's 1 for 3. You know what the funny irony of all that is? Is that here we point out all of these wonderful things that you did in your career, and you don't remember them because you played so long. And now you say, well, you know what? Now that I think about it, I was pretty clutch in game-winning RBIs.
I bet I'm not far off. I mean, I was averaging 147 games a year. I mean, I can't remember.
You're going to fall into a few of them a year, right?
Somewhere. Almost 8,000 at bats. I don't know.
Francis with Getz covering out at second. Double play. So he just keeps rolling along, and the Royals lead 5-0.
White Sox. Ryan and Frank will have more on that in just a moment, but as Alcides Escobar gets set to lead off, want to talk a little bit more about that fantastic defensive play he made in the 12th inning last night. And he actually said in the paper today that he's made that a bunch of times. No big deal, right? And he told me that he made one of those in Arizona in 09, one of those last year as well for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he's done it twice in winter ball. So I said, well, this has to have been the biggest, right? And he said, well, all the rest of those were early in the game. But last night, late in the game on the line, fast runner, he was willing to at least concede that this was the biggest play defensively of his career. Guys?
All right, Joel, you know, my favorite part about reading Alcides' comments, here's the Chevy call to the bullpen, and Phil Umber, who pitched for the Royals last year, got his first big league win with the Royals. He'll take over for Mark Burley. Escobar to right field, and Carlos Quinton is there. My favorite part was he said, if you don't believe me, just go look on the internet.
And the fact that he had a picture of one of them on his cell phone. And, you know, I think for those of us that have had a chance to spend a little bit of time around Alcides, very likable. He's not a cocky kid at all. He's a pretty humble kid. So I just think he doesn't think it's that big of a deal what he did, although at least he's got the picture to show it.
Well, Ned Yost said something very interesting before the game today to the media, and he made the comparison to watching a young Andrew Jones when he was coaching with the Braves. That Andrew Jones would just make one highlight play after another. And at first, the coaching staff was just oohing and awing over everything that he did. But then after a while, everyone just became so accustomed to him making all of these Gold Glove plays. And I think he won, what, 10 Gold Gloves in a row, that they had to remind themselves years later that that's still a great play. We might be used to it, but it's still a great play.
Well, they always say the longer you play, the fewer great plays you will make because you will be better positioned. But you're right. Yeah, when you start playing and making plays, it does become old hat, and you just got to continue to be consistent and continue to make the plays.
Derek Jeter has that trademark jump throw play when he's in the hole like Escobar was last night, jumping and throwing back across his body to first base. Three balls and one strike on Brian Pena. He has driven in a run today and scored a run. And he's been back there for Jeff Francis in his 6 scoreless innings. Three and two.
This is the 6th, Ryan, and this is our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Heidi Crane from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park this inning, Heidi will win $600. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Heidi will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Stroke to center field. Rios was over towards left center, so a long run for him to cut it off. And Brian Pena has a 2-hit day.
Speaking of that play by Escobar, as we see Brian stay on this fastball down and drive it into right center field, is that, you remember Tony Pena Jr. We saw him make a couple plays like that going to his right, and it always amazes me how they can redirect the ball back to first base with that much on it and that accurate.
Well, what do you think, Frank? I mean, it's 90 feet between the bases, and that's what, another 40 or 50 feet from
that's
deep short?
4 or 5 steps on the grass when he let it go. At least I think about 2 or 3 steps on the grass. So your body's going away from the first base, and you got to redirect that much power into an accurate throw with something on it for that distance. Really, the only other shortstop I can remember I played against that had that type of unorthodox throwing and could get the ball there in a hurry was, remember, Tony Fernandez from the Blue Jays.
So let's say it's what, 130 feet from where he's throwing. I mean, that's what, 40-45 yards. That's half a football field on the run in the opposite direction of your target with something on the throw and with incredible accuracy.
And you have a fast runner running. And it shows you how quickly you got to put it all together. And it just speaks to that play that Alex made in left field last night, going to the line with his body going into foul territory and making an accurate throw back to second base to hold a runner at first base. So all those plays are very athletic plays.
Don't forget to subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Royals game live or on demand on your computer. With MLB.premium, you can enjoy HD quality, home and away coverage. So yeah, we see major league players make these great plays, and sometimes we forget how difficult it is. So if you're watching at home today or at work or wherever, when you go home, go out on the street, mark off 43 yards, put a ball on the ground, run to it, full speed, pick it up, and then throw back to your target 43 yards away. White Sox don't turn the double play. Getz beats it out. Pena is erased at second base.
I think if Burton Beckham had to do this all over again, Ryan, he probably would have took this play himself rather than having to make that little short throw right there.
Come on, Mike.
Yeah, Chris Getz beat this easily at first base.
And now Mike Aviles, 0 for 3 with an RBI today, and now 0 for his last 11. So Mike just 3 out of 22 to begin the season. Getz is running, pitches inside, and Castro's throw is short. Chris Getz has his second stolen base.
You know what's impressed me about the stolen bases of the Royals, Ryan, is they're getting great jumps. I mean, he's off and running as soon as Humber's leg comes up. I mean, he's already got 2 steps going towards second base, and Ramirez just does an outstanding job keeping his ball on the infield. But the Royals are still in these bases easily.
He went 1 ball, 1 strike. And until Mike Aviles proves that he can either hit that ball or lay off that pitch, that's what he's going to see from right-hand pitching, at least. Sliders down and away.
And fastballs in off the plate that he can't swing at, and then they go right back down and away again. So it's all about an adjustment, and once the word gets out, then you've got to come out in batting practice and work on it, stay over the plate, and you got to go out there and hit that ball to right field and hit it back up the middle, let them know you can get to it. Then eventually you'll get what you want as a hitter.
Jammed him with a 2-1 pitch. Millage comes up and left, and that's all for the Royals in the 6th inning. Heidi Crane was our contestant. She gets 2 tickets to a future Royals game. Max is proud to be the official drink of the Kansas City Royals in the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth. We encourage you to look for these special edition Frank White Pepsi Max cans at your neighborhood Hy-Vee. New look, same great taste, and 0 calories. That's Pepsi Max we're talking about. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. So go grab you a can of Frank.
I knew it wouldn't take long.
0 calories, but 886 career RBIs. Just not in the top 5 for game-winning RBIs.
Well, we had so many great players. What can I say?
Caught at third. Aviles did a good job of making the play and keeping the ball off of his lips.
That's the #1 goal.
You can secure your seat to the 2012 All-Star Game with season tickets. And when you buy 2 season tickets, you get 2 free. How about that? And it starts at just $7 per game. For details, call 816-504-4040 or visit Royals.com. So 6 1/3 scoreless for Jeff Francis. And very few balls hit today like that one from Alexi Ramirez. White Sox have 6 hits, all singles. Francis has walked 1. 1-1 on Millage. Now it's only 2 starts, Frank, but this signing is looking very good for the Royals. They were convinced that this would be the season that Jeff Francis would get it all back together. He did not pitch all that well for the Colorado Rockies last year. Overall, that is. Keela into foul ground, and he makes the play to retire Millage. Francis got off to a good start last year. Here's pitching coach Bob McClure, who had Jeff Francis in the Rockies minor league system, and that's where Mac was when he was hired by the Royals when Buddy Bell was manager. But Jeff Francis last year, in his first 8 appearances, his ERA was 3.5, so he was bouncing back nicely from the shoulder surgery. But in his last 12, his ERA was almost 6.5, and he didn't go more than 3 2/3 innings once in his last 4 starts. So he did not finish strong. But the Royals saw him throw during the offseason. We're convinced that he would have a big year. It was not a huge financial investment for the Royals, getting a guy that helped lead a team to the World Series 4 years ago. And now in 13 2/3 innings with the Royals, he's given up 1 run.
I think he just basically just made the adjustment. A lot of times when you lose that power fastball, but you do have an outstanding curveball and changeup, you just make the adjustment and how you use your fastball and just being able to work both sides of the plate. You can tell by his first 2 starts that he knows how to pitch, and it's just a matter of just making the adjustment and mixing it up and keeping the hitters off balance, and you make that transition mentally from being a power guy to more of a finesse guy. Then I think once you come to grips with that, you become a better pitcher.
One of the rare mistakes today, and Francis leaves it up to Ramon Castro, the number 8 hitter, and Chicago is on the board. He loses the shutout, but I'm sure he's not that frustrated. I mean, he was 3 balls 1 strike on the number 8 hitter, up by 5. He wasn't going to walk him, and Castro got a pitch to hit, and he drove it out of the park.
Well, I think that's a good point, Ryan. He just not going to walk him. He probably wanted more to the outside and not so much down the middle, but you really have that than to walk him and set the stage for a 2-run homer. So solo homers pitchers can always live with, as long as it's not the one that win the game.
And now he's behind 2 balls and no strikes on Morel. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Tim Collins just starting to loosen up out in the Royals bullpen. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Shank, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton and Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. As we wind down the first homestand of the year, Royals trying to make it a 5-1 homestand before traveling to Detroit and Minnesota. Up the middle, and a base hit for Morel. So a 2 outs and nobody on base. A home run off the bat of Castro. Now a single for Morel. Out comes Ned Yost. So that'll be it for Jeff Francis. 6 2/3 innings. He gives up 1 run. He gets a nice ovation as he goes back to the dugout. And Tim Collins enters the game in the Chevy call to the bullpen. Hits, only 1 extra base hit. He leaves a runner at first base, Brent Morrell, and the Royals with a 4-run lead to make sure the White Sox don't get back into the game. So Tim Collins will come on to face a left-hand hitter, Juan Pierre. On Sunday in that 13-inning marathon, Collins pitched the last 3 innings for the Royals and got his first major league win. Our video fan question last night asked whether Tim Collins would be available in that game. Frank thought no because of the 3 innings on Sunday. The Royals had an off day on Monday, and Ned Yost confirmed before the game today that Collins was not available last night. Pierre goes to the opposite field and he'll drive in a run, and he'll hold with a 2-out double. So it's 5-2 Royals leading. Pierre has his 2nd RBI of the season.
Collins starts Pierre off with a good fastball down and in for a strike, but this is a fastball he left out over the plate, and you don't usually see this kind of power out of Pierre where he hits the ball this far, but he drove it in the left center field for a double and got the RBI in the process.
You wonder how much of that was Pierre's power and how much of the power did Tim Collins provide with his velocity.
That's a good point.
Beckham went around. First base umpire is Bob Davidson. Beckham 0 for 2 today, walked in the 4th. That run is charged to Jeff Francis. So he gives up 2 runs in 6 2/3. Now Pierre goes to 3rd, and his jump was so big that Brian Pena doesn't even bother. Second stolen base for Pierre, and his 2nd in as many days. Good fastball, 93, and he throws it by Beckham, 1-2.
Yeah, Gordon's been a little late on the fastball all day. I don't know if it's facing Jeff Francis and sitting on off-speed pitches, but it's been just a click late on the fastball.
Curveball squirted to the right side, and Collins throws out Beckham. White Sox get 2, and now it's a 3-run game. Get 2 runs. Jeff Francis in line to win for the first time as a member of the Royals, and he is today's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
Well, it was a great moment for him too, Ryan. Just did an outstanding job mixing his pitches. Got a few strikeouts. Used his curveball, changeup very well, and spotted his fastball.
Phil Lumber back to work in the bottom of the 7th inning. Royals scored all 5 runs off of Mark Burley, and they did that in the first 4 innings. Umber came on in the 6th, gave up a hit and no runs. Phil Umber played for the Royals last year and got his first major league win in a Royals uniform. That was at Detroit on August the 25th. First round pick of the Mets back in 2004, had to overcome Tommy John surgery, and then was traded from the Mets to the Twins in 08 in the Johan Santana trade. Just a little bit outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Collins finishes off the 7th. And if everything stays the same, Tejeda in the 8th and Soria in the 9th. Popped up. Beckham is out. Sunglasses on a bright day. And Melky is 2 for 4. Here's today's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Most runs scored in inning 7 or later. And the Royals have the most. And if you've been following the Royals in the first week, that should be no surprise to you. And one of the reasons among many that the Royals are 4-1 is that they've only allowed 4 total runs over that same span. One thing that hasn't changed about the game over the years, Frank, if you outscore your opponent, your chances of winning are pretty good.
I agree.
Now, how about that for analysis?
And if you score last, you got a chance to win.
Yep.
Some things are fairly obvious. We just have to say them.
Well, it's the stat I bring up often. The Royals last year only won 67 games, but you forget they were 67-0 when they outscored their opponent. You can't be fun at the old ballpark, can you?
It'd be hard.
Among all the stats that we get day after day, that's one that, for whatever reason, is never mentioned. 2-2 on Alex. You can take your group out to Kauffman Stadium and save big. Groups of 20 or more get a significant discount compared to single game ticket prices. For more information, call 816-504-4040, or you can go to Royals.com for more information. Alex has 4 hits in the series, all extra base hits, 3 doubles, and a home run. Konerko makes a good play on a tough hop, and then he throws badly, and Umber is lucky that Alex Gordon didn't run right over him. Alex may not have touched first base. I'm not sure why the White Sox don't even try and tag him or go to the bag.
Well, Gordon Beckham actually looked at the first base umpire, Bob Davis, and said something, and he must have told him he tagged the base. You're right, Ron. Lucky he just didn't get stepped on right here, but he got the front part of the base.
Pretty good concentration there for Alex, with Umber rolling across the bag to keep his eye on the bag and make sure he touched first base.
That's the most difficult play for a pitcher coming over. He's looking for the ball chest high so he can stay in stride and touch the base, and you throw that ball down around his ankles, and that's what happens right there. You take him right across in the baseline, and just real fortunate he wasn't hurt on that play.
It's an error on Konerko, and the White Sox second error of the day. Umber throws a strike to Billy Butler.
You can see him coming over, and he's looking up. His eyes are always above the waist. You can see where the ball takes him right down to the ground, and right into the baseline.
I was thinking he might have missed the bag, because anytime an umpire just stands there and does nothing, I mean, no safe, no out,
Balls land on the ground, and
a lot of times that's implying that there's still a play to be made. There's still a call to be made. Alex clearly hit the bag.
That's when Beckham picked the ball up and walked over to Bob Davis, and he must have told him, hey, he's safe.
Billy was intentionally walked last time in the first inning. He singled home Alex. The Royals with a 2-run first and a 3-run fourth. The White Sox didn't score until they got 2 in the 7th. Alex takes off, and Billy skies it foul off the right field line. Royals have 1 stolen base, and it is not a coincidence that it happened the first inning that Mark Burley came out. Brisquet stealing second base on Umber in the 6th. Alex has not attempted a stolen base yet this year. And Umber has missed badly with 2 out of the last 3 pitches. Still 2-2. Phil Umber made the club partly because of the injury to Jake Peavy. Umber was a non-roster player in White Sox spring training, and Jake Peavy, coming back from that very odd injury, he was pitching last year, and one of his shoulder muscles detached from the bone. Very rare surgery, so rare that the doctors asked if they could videotape it so that there would be some reference for a procedure down the road if somebody else suffered the same injury. So he was hoping to start on the roster, and he had pitched a couple of times in spring training before his shoulder started to act up. So the White Sox put him on the disabled list, and Phil Umber made the club. Alex is running, and Billy takes ball 4. Royals have a day off tomorrow. They will travel to Detroit and play a 3-game series there. No television on Friday afternoon. On Saturday, it'll be Bruce Chen against Phil Koch. Tigers taking Phil Koch out of their bullpen and putting him in the starting rotation. Royals Live begins at 2:30 Central Time. The first pitch is at 3:05. 3 games over the weekend with Detroit, an off day on Monday, and then a 2-game series in Minnesota. Ball 1 to Keela. 0 for 3 today, although he could easily be 2 out of 3 with lineouts to left field and center field in his last 2 at-bats. 0 for 7 in the series. He has Alex Gordon at second base, Billy Butler at first with 1 out. He really got a big piece of Ramon Castro on the follow-through, and a fly ball to left field is caught by Millage. So much so that Keela hesitated coming out of the batter's box because he realized he had hit Castro so hard. He got him on the side of the face.
Take a look at this swing here. He's got a big follow through here, and the ball and the bat goes all around and hits him right, like you say, Ryan, right on the right side of the face, and That's that long swing, and that's just knowing exactly where you are and what type of hitter's at the plate. So next time you'll probably even move further back in the box.
Listen to this. You expect to hear the first crack. You don't expect to hear the second crack.
And you usually don't see a swing like that on a fastball in his zone like that, where the bat goes around and hit the catcher. Normally it's a breaking ball and you're reaching a little bit and the bat goes around, but that's an oddity right there. But thank goodness for the helmet.
So first and second, 2 down, and now Jeff Francoeur. Breaking ball for a strike. Francoeur has not faced Phil Umber. He is 1 for 3 today. With 1 out in the 4th inning, he singled, and Alcides Escobar doubled him home. One and one. We began the broadcast today and talked again early in the game about the Royals' ability to score with 2 outs this year. They lead the league in hitting with 2 outs, and they've driven in the 2nd most runs with 2 outs. But that statistic will not improve in this inning. At the end of 7, the Royals lead by 3. And as we go to the Panera out-of-town scoreboard, the Angels have beaten the Rays, so Tampa Bay is 0-5. Texas on their way to improving to 6-0. Minnesota will be at New York later tonight. Boston is winless. They'll be at Cleveland. Baltimore's at home against Detroit. The Orioles are 4-0. And it will be Oakland at Toronto. Robinson Tejeda takes over for Tim Collins. He got the final out of the 7th. Unless Tejeda pitches the 9th, he will not get a save, but this might be a more difficult inning than the one Joaquim Soria will have, because Tejeda will face the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. And the first hitter, Rios, lines it to Alex Gordon. Rios is 1 for 4. But Tejeda got away with a pitch up. 1 down.
Yeah, up is not good in the strike zone, and Rios, I tell you what, there's a time when they get a pitch like this and it's out of the ballpark. They hit this ball right on the screws, but you can see Alex looks much more comfortable in left field every day, and he just cruises right underneath this line drive.
Paul Konerko is 1 for 3, but one of his outs has really stood out today. In the 4th inning, The Royals had a 2-0 lead at that time, and the White Sox had runners at first and third and nobody out. Jeff Francis, facing Paul Konerko, struck him out, and when the inning was over, the White Sox came up empty. Konerko is 1 for 4.
You can always look at a confident fielder, Ryan. You see how he drops the glove down, right hand over the top, make sure he looks the ball into his glove. Then he comes up, picks up his next target. Nice throw over the top.
And he looks cool with the sunglasses on.
Yeah, they all do that, you know. Even we put ours on sometimes.
Sometimes. Carlos Quentin 1 for 3. So the White Sox 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters all have a hit, but they are all singles. Nobody has driven in a run. And Quentin, the deep left field. Back goes Alex Gordon. And now one of those guys has driven in a run. Second home run for Carlos Quentin, and it is 5-3. Did I jinx that?
Not quite. Not quite. But you're pretty good though. That, you see the 3 fingers on the ball. That's a changeup that runs down and in, and that's what you don't want to do. Carlos Quentin is a low ball hitter, likes the ball middle land, and that stays right in his hot zone, and he didn't miss that one. And Robbie, he at one point he was considered more of a power reliever. 95, 96 fastball, high miles per hour on the slider. But he just sort of goes back and forth now. You have so many different ranges of speed on his fastball, and the changeup is what he started developing a lot more last year. But he just got to get it to not run inside to those right-handed hitters.
That's into the left field corner, but it is foul. What I think may have helped Tejeda, and it's not the first time this has happened, but a pitcher who is more of a thrower and just comes out maximum effort, throw it up there as hard as they can. They don't have that good touch and feel. Well, when Tejeda went to the rotation a couple of years ago, he had to pace himself and had to pull back just a little bit so that he could pitch more than 1 inning. And as a result, he ended up with better control and better feel for his slider and his changeup. He lets Ramirez get away on an 0-2 pitch. Second hit for Ramirez.
You can see the pitchability. I mean, after that, you can see he learned the value of the changeup and the value of changing speeds, and it really has helped him.
Mark Teahen appears for the first time in the series. He will pinch hit for Lastings Millage, a right-hand hitter. Teahen with just 2 at-bats when the White Sox were in Cleveland over the weekend and had a single. Popped up into shallow right field. Getz goes way out, but Francoeur makes the catch. White Sox get a home run from Quentin to make it a 2-run game.
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Royals lead it 5-3 immediately following the game on Boulevard Royals Live. Paul Splittorff and myself will break down all the action. Finally, the Royals with an early lead to try and protect as opposed to coming back. We'll hear from the Royals. It's been a fun clubhouse as of late. Break down Jeff Francis' second outing. As good as his first and perhaps worthy of a win this time, and we'll get the win. That and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. And Ryan will start to get you ready for the first road trip.
All right, thanks, Joel. Mark Teahan stays in the game in left field. Pinch hitting for Lastings Millage in the top of the 8th. And Will Oman will pitch the bottom of the 8th. Phil Umber before him, 2 scoreless innings. Royals scored all 5 off of Mark Burley in 5 innings. Escobar, Pena, and Getz coming up. Escobar doubled with an RBI in the 4th inning and then came around to score. RBIs today for Alex Gordon, Billy Butler, Alcides Escobar, Brian Pena, and Mike Aviles. Joaquim Soria and Sean O'Sullivan warming up out in the left field bullpen, the new location for the Royals pen this year. Through the left side, and Escobar has a 2-hit game. Here's today's Home Depot defensive play of the game.
This is Alex Gordon going down the line to fill a base hit by Alexi Ramirez, and he picks up Carlos Quinn going to third base, Ryan, on a nice one-hop throw to the line.
The Home Depot doing more on defense. Escobar has stolen 2 bases this year, and Brian Pena is usually a good bet to make contact. So if the Royals want to try and add on by way of a hit and run here, they have a pretty good combination. Or Brian Pena could lay down a bunt. Brian has 2 hits. He has driven in a run. He has scored a run.
Well, it's not a bad time to try to get another runner in scoring position, try to pick up a little insurance, but the Royals have been real successful on their hit and runs. So they've had so many options, and so far everything's worked the way they want them to work.
Swinging away, and one hop to Morel. Out at second base, Beckham had a little trouble with the transfer, but the White Sox still turn a double play, and that's their second of the day. Will Oman trying to bounce back today. He had a rough series in Cleveland. He appeared in 2 games, and he gave up 6 runs in 2 innings. The complete opposite of what he did last year pitching for the Baltimore Orioles. He didn't allow a run in his first 15 2/3 innings last year. So his first year with the White Sox, he has pitched with the Cubs, and the White Sox like that because they felt that made him, quote, Chicago tough. He has dealt with the pressures of pitching in Chicago. He is very tough on left-hand hitting. Lefties batted only .280 against him last year. Three balls and no strikes on Chris Getz, who has a single and a stolen base. He's 1 for 3. And Getz is on for the second time. Well, this time Will Oman lets a left-hand batter get away. I've been telling you all about the White Sox troubles with their bullpen. So far so good today, but before today the Sox bullpen in their first 4 games had allowed 14 runs in less than 13 innings.
You have to wonder how he hadn't been getting much sleep lately. you know he likes to worry and he obsesses over things sometimes. And I know that when things aren't going right with his ball club in any phase, it bothers him a lot.
And the slogan for the White Sox this year is all in. They spent a lot of money during the offseason. Adam Dunn got the biggest contract. They re-signed Paul Konerko to a 3-year deal. They brought back A.J. Pierzynski. They have a team record $129 million payroll. And it is not a young team. It is the 3rd oldest team in the major league. So it was a gamble for them to bring those veterans back. But they saw an opportunity in the American League Central, and rather than bring on some younger players and build towards the future, they are going all in this year. Royals, on the flip side, they are the youngest team in the major leagues, and they're only going to get younger.
I tell you, they have. I've just heard some compliments. I shared them with you. Some of the scouts who watched the Royals team play all the way through spring training to date, and they really have never seen him loaf after one ball.
Martin may have lost that in the sun at the last moment. The Royals will get a run to make it a 3-run game. Tien was there. He reached up with 2 hands. Just bounced off the glove. Maybe he took his eye off it at the last moment.
Yeah, you can see where his head just comes down. It's almost like he blinded. He's kind of screened himself off with the glove and then closed the glove. The ball wasn't there. And Chris Getz comes around to score.
Three errors for the White Sox. This is the first error that leads to a run. So he showed you Joakim Soria and Sean O'Sullivan out in the bullpen. It is a 6-3 game right now, not 5-4. And if the Royals score another run, it'll be O'Sullivan. If the lead stays at 3, it'll be Soria. Two strikes on Melky Cabrera, who has a 2-hit game and a run scored. Blocked by Castro, and that keeps Aviles at second base.
Yeah, I finished my thought on the scouts talking about the ball club. They just feel like this team hustles all the time. They haven't seen one instance where someone hasn't run the ball out, and I think that just goes back to the accountability that Ned Yost put on the players in spring training. Because no matter how bad things get in the game, one thing you can always control is your hustle.
Another save by Castro, 2-2. Let's wrap up today's sprint, you call it. And we asked you about the most exciting win the Royals have had this year before today. 59% going with last night's win. Royals coming back after being down 4-0 very early. They tied the game in the 8th. They won it in the 12th.
Kind of gives you an idea of your first and last impressions.
Morel to the grass, has to hurry, and got him. Royals add a run and take a 3-run lead to the 9th. Joakim Soria will face A.J. Pierzynski, who's hitting for Ramon Castro, then Brent Morel, and then Juan Pierre. Soria appeared in the game last night, came on in the 9th, faced 3, retired 3 with a strikeout. The Royals won that game in 12. 1 ball and 1 strike on Pierzynski. Royals are trying for their first 5-game winning streak since the end of the 2009 season. The Royals never had a 4-game winning streak last year. The best they did was 3 in a row. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Pierzynski. AJ 1 for 5 last night with a single. Royals want an appeal down to the third base umpire and don't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Castro pinch hit for, even though he homered in his last at bat and had a 2-hit game. Still 2-2. Jeff Francis 6 2/3 innings. He only gave up 2 runs, 8 hits. Tim Collins got the final out of the 7th. Robinson Tejeda pitched the 8th and gave up a run. Right to Chris Getz. 1 away in the 9th. Royals with an early lead today. They got 2 in the bottom of the 1st inning. And the first run driven in by Alex Gordon, our Chevy play of the game.
That's a double over the hit Elastic Miller in left field in the 1st inning. They played the first run for the Royals and get it going in the direction of another win.
That was a misread by Millage in left field. Don't know if he would have caught the ball with a good read. Probably would have. And the White Sox have 3 errors. They have not had a good day on defense. The Royals have had a good day on defense. Brent Morel 1 for 3 with a run scored. Another ground ball to Getz. 2 down in the 9th. $13,360 at the ballpark today on a beautiful sunny day. It was a little cloudy when the game started, but now a beautiful powder blue sky overhead. The Royals in their powder blues and trying to wrap up their first homestand of the year with a 5-1 record. And Soria throws a strike to Pierre. 2 hits. He has driven in a run. Up the right field line and a base hit. Francoeur to it quickly. And in a 3-run game, no reason for Pierre to take a chance. So he has a 3-hit game, and the tying run still remains on deck. And now it's Soria and Gordon Beckham. Beckham popped a short against Soria last night, and that makes him 0 for 3 in his career against Joakim. He is hitless today. One and 0.
It's kind of nice to see as the Royals pitching gets better and better. The defense comes right along with it. Everything is kind of contagious in this game.
And is out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, you know, defense obviously saves runs and reduces the pitcher's pitch count, but in the game last night, remember the pickoff by Jeffress, and then Escobar made a great play that ended the top of the 12th. The Royals went into the dugout with a huge amount of emotion, and you really got the feeling they were going to win it in the bottom of the 12th. So that's another way that defense can lift a team, and they did win it in the bottom of the 12th.
Well, you're right, Ryan. And the one area that they really need to really keep improving on is at the double play. When it presents itself, you got to get both ends of it and not just one, because that itself leads to 1-run games down, later on down the road. So take those outs as they present themselves.
Royals did not turn a double play back in the 5th inning, but Jeff Francis picked up the defense, and then the defense picked up Francis the next inning when they did turn a double play. 3 balls and 1 strike on Beckham. with the potential tying run on deck in Alex Rios. The White Sox 2 runs today, or 2 scoring innings, began with 2 outs and nobody on base. In the 7th inning, with 2 outs and nobody on, Castro homered, and then Pierre doubled in Morel. In the 8th inning, with 2 outs and nobody on, Quinton homered, and now in this inning, with 2 outs and nobody on, Pierre singles, Beckham walks, and that brings up Rios. The White Sox say not so fast. Rios today is 1 for 4, and that's what he is in his career against Soria. And Joaquin comes right at him with a fastball. Rios has very good power. He hit 21 home runs for the White Sox last year.
He had to be just taken all the way there, because that's a pitch that's down in his zone, middle and down. That's the ball he really likes, and he let that pitch go.
He's had as many as 24 home runs in a season. On the ground, Aviles dives. It's off his glove. Pierre going to try and score, and he will. And boy, the White Sox lucky. There was miscommunication on both sides there, Frank. Pierre didn't know where the ball was, and Escobar didn't immediately throw to the plate.
When he came around third, he looked back, and I don't know, a lot of times it's hard to see distance, and when you look at the angle to see how far that ball actually went off Mike's glove when he made that dive. You see when he goes around third here, he's being waved home, but then he sees Becker coming down from second base. He's got to go at that point.
So the tying run is on. It is an infield single, and even with the hesitation, Rios gets an RBI. So Beckham at third, Rios at first, and now Paul Konerko, who is 1 for 4. Ball 1. The base hit for Konerko gives him a 12-game hitting streak against the Royals. And I almost want to whisper this, but he has a 3-game home run streak against KC. Off the left field line and foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. I just showed you that Konerko is hitless in his career against Soria. The best he's been able to do is get on base with a walk. All of this after 2 weak ground balls to Chris Getz at second base. A single, a walk, and then an infield single and an RBI. One ball, 2 strikes. We were talking about new nicknames for Joaquin Soria. He wants his nickname changed for personal reasons. And one of the names we came up with was Senor Fresco, Mr. Cool. And when things like this happen around Soria, he's just so good at keeping it all together. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Konerko.
Well, he's still in front of that patented slow curveball. Very nice going right after Konerko with his fastball, moving it in and out.
Into right field, and it's a 1-run game. Rios will go first to third. So the White Sox do it again. 3 consecutive innings with 2 outs and nobody on base. They score runs.
It wasn't a bad pitch in terms of he getting hit, but it's inside. Konerko likes the ball inside. He just fights it off to right field. And like I say, Soria stayed pretty much hard with everything in this at bat to to Paul Konerko. You see Beckham come around the score, and Rios goes from first to third.
And you say fight it off. That's a good way to put it, because you may have noticed when Paul Konerko got to first, he was almost complaining. I think he felt like he was quick pitched by Soria. He came set, and then he went to the plate quickly, and Konerko was wondering if it should have been a balk. Of course, he'll take the hit and the RBI, but Soria trying to quick pitch Konerko, and he was able to, as you say, Frank, fight it off for an RBI. Brent Lillibridge is going to run for Konerko over at first base, and now Carlos Quinton comes to the plate. This is what he did last inning against Tejeda.
Just picked on a changeup down and middle in and drove it in the left center field for a left field bullpen for a home run. And so now you got to be careful how you pitch Carlos Quinton. You don't want to give him anything to pull. You just want to keep him out in the middle of the field and let your defense help you get the out.
Fouled back by Quinton. 2 out of 6 against Soria. One of those hits was a double. He had 5 home runs, 10 RBIs against the Royals last year. Boy, that pitch stayed up. You think Quinton would like to have that one back?
Oh boy.
I don't think he's upset with the call, Frank. I think he's upset with himself.
Definitely upset with himself in this situation here. Trying to look for a little bit too much, and that was a pitch that he'd love to have back.
Into left center field. Run, Alex. It drops. The White Sox have tied the game. Lillibridge is on his way to the plate, and Escobar's throw is not in time. It rolled away from Pena. Wow, can you believe that? With 2 outs and nobody on base, the Chicago White Sox score 4.
Now, this is really just too good a pitch right here. 0-2, Ryan. Just fastball up out over the plate, running into Carlos Quinton's bat. Alex did a good job cutting this off and getting it back to the infield, but Lillibridge running with 2 strikes. I'm sorry, with 2 outs. There's no hesitation at third base. Now right here, going head first at home wasn't really the smartest thing to do.
That slices into right center. Melky Cabrera is there. Well, why not? How about winning another game in the last at bat? To the bottom of the 9th, Alex Gordon, Billy Butler, and Kila Kaihue coming up. of the ninth inning. Brent Lillibridge, he ran for Paul Konerko. He goes to left field. Mark Teahan was in left. He goes to first. A.J. Pierzynski batted for Ramon Castro. He's behind the plate. And the White Sox new closer, Matt Thornton, is on the mound. Well, you talk about a beautiful blue day and a bolt out of the blue. 2 outs and nobody on. And the Royals ahead by 3, and Joakim Soria on the mound. And what are the odds in Vegas that that inning was going to be over? And the White Sox come up with 4. They've scored all 7 of their runs in the last 3 innings. And they've scored all 7 runs in the last 3 innings after 2 outs and nobody on base.
That's the one thing that I've just had a hard time trying to get my head around is those two out rallies. You get 2 quick outs and all of a sudden everything falls apart all of a sudden, and you just see it every day, game in, game out. And the guys who can minimize that are the guys that are successful. But you didn't see Soria going with any of his other pitches in that inning. It was mainly just fastballs. The whole just moved it in and out and got a couple balls in. They fought it off for base hit, but he stayed with it.
Still 0-2 on Alex. So Joakim suffers his first blown save of the year. And the Royals as a staff with their second blown save. 1-2 on Alex. Another double today, his 5th of the year, his 3rd of the series. He is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts against Thornton. Still 1-2. Billy Butler waiting on deck. He has driven in a run today, and then after him, Kila Kaihue. 2-2. So Thornton is the closer with Bobby Jenks signing on with the Boston Red Sox. Thornton for several years. White Sox left-handed setup man to Bobby Jenks. And down goes Alex.
Yeah, Matt Thornton really has a quick arm. As soon as it ball, it's like it just explodes out of his hand. And that ball was by Alex before he got his swing completed.
Billy's been on base 3 times. An RBI single, 2 walks, and one of those walks was intentional. And if you're wondering about Billy and Thornton, he is 1-8. Not to be confused with Billy Bob Thornton. One ball, 2 strikes. Mark Burley gave up 5 runs in 5 innings, so he's off the hook. And right now the pitcher of record is Will Ullman, who gave up a run in the 8th, albeit an unearned run. Through the right side, so the tying run is on with 1 out. Gerard Dyson will bat for Billy, or a run for Billy. I don't think that's ever going to happen. He will run for Billy. I don't think he'll bat for Billy.
Oh, Billy did a real good job. Thornton throwing 98 miles an hour. Billy does a good job not trying to do too much. Just goes right with the pitch. Hard ground ball to right field. Base hit. He gets better and better all the time.
Gerard was telling me before the game that this isn't entirely new for him. A few years ago when he was in A-ball, he was a part-time player. He got into 90 games but wasn't a starter, so he's used to watching the game for 6 innings or so, keeping his legs loose, knowing that he's going to come in a spot like this, and he got a great jump. Pierzynski dropped the ball, but he had no chance. So some may have been surprised when Dyson made the club, thinking maybe he should play every day in the minor leagues, but boy, this is a great advantage that the Royals have on the bench now.
Well, I agree with you, and just great legs and just being able to keep those legs loose and be ready to steal that big base late in the game. That's great in itself. Now you got to make sure, as if you Thornton and Pierzynski, make sure he doesn't take third base.
Keela is due. He is 0 for 4 today and 0 for his last 10. He was late on the fastball and it was 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's just a little bit high. That's a little bit higher than Keela likes it. He likes the ball down a little bit more, but when the guy's throwing 98 miles an hour, you don't have a lot of time to make up your mind what you want to do.
Alexi Ramirez doing everything he can to keep Dyson close at second base. And Keela hits it over third, and the Royals are going to tie the game. And now Keela on his way to second base. He is safe. And the winning run is at second.
Well, just when we thought he was overmatched, Matt Thornton goes away with a fastball. He stays away. This is what Dyson steals this pitch, and he just throws this ball just strictly by, and he just stays right on it. We thought it would like the ball down a little bit more. Thornton got it down, and base hit to left. Dyson scores, and Keela goes into second with a double.
So Keela picked a great time to break out of an 0 for 10, and as Ned Yost has said, when he wanted improved base running from the Royals this year, that include everybody has the green light on base. He wants everybody trying to stretch singles into doubles, and Keela, representing the winning run, gets himself into scoring position.
But Dyson reads this ball off the bat. It didn't take him long to know that this ball's going to be a base hit. It was no way he's ever going to get caught on that ball right there. I mean, that was just an excellent read on his part.
One strike on Escobar, who has 2 hits, a run scored, and an RBI. Jeremy Jeffress getting ready in the bullpen. The Royals have picked up Joakim Soria after Soria gave up 4 in the 9th after 2 outs and nobody on. The Royals have tied it in the bottom of the 9th. A broken bat, a slow roller. They'll get the force at second base. And an ill-advised throw by Beckham. There was nothing to gain there. And Mark Teahan acting more like a catcher than an infielder, just trying to block it.
Well, he did a good job of recognizing no chance at first base. And this is where you got to manage the game. And by the way that ball was hit, Beckham should have known there was no chance to get Escobar at first base. I mean, he's running hard all the way down the line. He wants to be safe right here and take his chances with 2 outs. One of those situations here, Ryan, where the manager goes out, you got Chris Getz at the plate, can not only put the ball in play, but also can. Oh, I got the stand corrected there. That's Brian Payne at the plate.
And Bryant's had a good day. 2 hits, an RBI, and a run scored. He is 0 for 2 against Matt Thornton.
When Brian's on, he likes to take that lefty to right center field and not try to overswing. When he gets overswing, he does get in trouble. But he takes his time and just try to meet the ball and try to stay up the middle. He usually has a lot of success that way.
To the right side. Beckham is there. And we will play extra innings again. The Royals tie it in the bottom of the ninth. On Friday on his walk-off home run, and 0 for 10 going into his at-bat in the ninth inning today, and he drives in the tying run. So we go into extra innings. Extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, field your wild side. That's a good way to describe the Royals in 2011. Jeremy Jeffress picked up his first win as a Royal in the 12-inning game last night. The White Sox will send up Mark Teahen, AJ Pierzynski, and Brent Morrell. With one out, Billy Butler singled. Gerard Dyson ran for him, stole second base, came home on Keela's hustling double.
All smiles there on the bench. You wait all day to get that one chance to help the ball club. He goes out there and gets it done for him. You always say, what's it feel like to run that fast?
I mean, your feet get hot?
He's fun to watch.
Got smoke coming out of his shoes. 2 balls and no strikes on Mark Teahen as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. Fly to right, and then in the bottom of the 8th he dropped a fly ball in left field, which gave the Royals a 3-run lead. Three balls, 1 strike. So no win for Jeff Francis. Another great start for him. He gave up 2 runs in 6 2/3. And Teahen takes a leadoff walk. I think we'll ever see a team score 4 runs again off of Joakim Soria after 2 outs and nobody on base.
I never would have thought it.
AJ Pierzynski as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning, grounded out to second base. Jeffress got the last 2 outs at the top of the 12th last night, and one of them was on his own pickoff. And now laying down a bunt, Aviles looks to second and throws out Pierzynski. So now the White Sox have the go-ahead run at second base. And now it'll be number 9 hitter Brent Morel. 1 out of 4 today with a run scored. If the White Sox score this run, it will be the first time all day that they score without the inning starting with 2 outs and nobody on base. A very odd trend for them. In the 7th inning, 2 outs, nobody on, a home run, and then an RBI double. In the 8th, 2 outs, nobody on, a home run. And then in the 9th, with 2 outs and nobody on, 4 runs. So the trends are reversed today. Remember, the Royals were doing all of their scoring late and the White Sox early. But today, the Royals scored 5 of their 7 runs in the first 4 innings. And the White Sox have scored all 7 of their runs in the last 3 innings. Good pitch over the outside in 97, and it's 0-2 on Morel. He went around. Bob Davidson, the umpire at first base. So 2 down.
That's almost like looking for something and getting something else, and you got almost like you're looking for something inside, and he goes hard away and get a check swing, 3rd strike call.
And now Juan Pierre, who has a 3-hit game. It was his single with 2 outs and nobody on in the 9th that got the 4-run rally started. A little bit inside. Singled in the 5th inning, doubled in a run in the 7th, and then the single in the 9th. Great pitch. Boy, 98 right over the inside corner. 1-1 on Pierre.
You can see Pierre's taking all the way here. You can see Jeffers just boards that fastball over the inside corner.
Now it goes with a breaking ball, and it's 2-1. White Sox have a runner at second base without a hit. Martin taking a walk. A.J. Pierzynski bunting him up. Jeffress just struck out Brent Morel. 3-1. Gordon Beckham is on deck.
Juan Pierre sure showing a lot of patience at the plate. It's almost like he's trying to make Jeffries take him all the way to 3-2 before he swings the bat.
Over the corner, and he's up to 99 with his fastball.
It looked like Pierre was taking all the way and just trying to make Jeffries throw strikes, and he got this on the outside corner.
Curveball, got it. And then a pump with a fist. So Jeffress gets around the leadoff walk, and we're still tied to the bottom of the 10th. White Sox series reminds you of anything, well, in the last 5 games here at Kauffman Stadium, these two teams have played a total of 53 innings in 45 hours. So quick turnarounds. Royals have won 3 of the 5, outscoring the White Sox by 2. White Sox with 4 in the 9th. Handing Joakim Soria a blown save. The Royals with 1 in the 9th, giving Matt Thornton a blown save. And he's ahead of Chris Getz quickly. No balls and 2 strikes. Up the middle to Ramirez. And there's 1 away. And that'll bring up Mike Aviles. Well, Keila Kaihue tied the game in the 9th. He had been 0 for 10. Mike Aviles is 0 for 13. 0 for his last 13. He has driven in a run today. He has only faced Matt Thornton twice. Ball 1 in the dirt. Last year, Aviles hit .360 against the White Sox. One and one. Sean O'Sullivan getting ready for the 11th inning, if there is an 11th inning. Up the middle and again to Ramirez, and there are 2 down in the 10th. Melky Cabrera with 2 hits today, 5 in the series. He won the game last night with a base hit in the bottom of the 12th. He also tied the game last night with a 2-run single in the 2nd inning. Late on the fastball at 96.
And Matt Thornton's got a strong arm, Ryan. He just out for his 2nd inning and doesn't like he's lost any velocity at all.
Sounded like he cracked his bat, and he did. Cracked it in half.
I think that's his 3rd batter today.
Still alive. Royals trying to finish 5-1 on the homestand. They will go to Detroit and Minnesota for their first road trip. They took 3 out of 4 from the Angels. They won last night. They had a 3-run lead with 2 outs in the 9th inning today. Again, Ramirez. So we will play 11. Royals 3 up, 3 down in the 10th. First 2 extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, field your wild side. Sean O'Sullivan for the 11th inning. He suffered the first blown save for the Royals this year in the game on Sunday. Royals ended up winning that one in 13. They won last night in 12. And if the form chart continues, they will win today in 11. Beckham 0 for 3. He has 2 walks, and he scored a run in Chicago's 4-run 9th inning, getting a walk off of Joakim Soria. Just a wild game. Looked like the Royals were going to have their first easy victory, if you want to call it that. They had a 5-0 lead at the end of 4 innings. The White Sox got 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. Royals got 1 in the bottom of the 8th, so 6-3 Royals in the top of the 9th. Joakim Soria got 2 ground balls, so 2 outs and nobody on base. And the White Sox scored 4. Juan Pierre singled. Gordon Beckham walked. Alex Rios drove in a run with a single. Paul Konerko drove in a run with a single, and Carlos Quinton drove in 2 with a double. That is foul off the right field side. So a huge letdown for the Royals and for the fans here today. But the Royals in the bottom of the 9th inning against Matt Thornton, somebody who didn't give up a single run to the Royals all of last year in 5 games. He gave up a run in the bottom of the 9th. Keila Kaihue with a double to score pinch runner Gerard Dyson. Both teams scoreless in the 10th. And here we are in inning number 11. Just missed. Pena wanted it. O'Sullivan wanted it. But Jerry Lane said it was just outside.
That just speaks to all that, the character that team, those guys down there, how they feel about it, Ryan.
Sharply hit to Escobar. And a strong throw gets Beckham.
You know, Keeler wasn't swinging the bat well, and he looked overmatched against Thornton in his first 2 strikes. And Thornton makes a nice pitch down in a way, and Keeler does a good job fighting it down the line. So they just are true to their belief that they never quit.
Curveball hangs high to Alex Rios. 2 hits, an RBI, and a run scored. Back to O'Sullivan, who handles the tough side spin, and a throw to first for the out. The White Sox using the speed of Brent Lillibridge in the top of the 9th. And Lillibridge scored what was then the go-ahead run for the White Sox, running for Paul Konerko. But that means that he bats now in the top of the 11th and not Konerko. Konerko extended his hitting streak against the Royals today to 12, but he did not extend his home run streak, which was at 3 consecutive games. He had a 3-run home run in the first inning last night. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's a big difference when he's out of the game, because one swing from him at any point can change the game around. That's one of the things that Ned Yost had a hard time with, is knowing when to pull Billy Butler in close games and hoping that his at bat doesn't come back around again. So that's always a tough spot for managers to be in.
On the ground to Aviles. And Sean O'Sullivan has a scoreless top of the 11th inning. Royals tied the game in the 8th last night against Chris Sale. He's coming on for the 11th. Royals trying to win it in 11. They won it in 13 on Sunday, in 12 last night. And in the 11th today, they'll face Chris Sale, who's going to get 3 left-hand batters. Alex Gordon, Gerard Dyson, who ran for Billy Butler when the Royals tied the game in the 9th, and then Keila Kaihue.
We'll take a look at Alex last night. Just a line drive over shortstop. This ball goes all the way to the wall. Juan Pierre cuts it off, and Alex cruises into second base with a base hit for the double.
And Sale came in to face Alex and Keila, but to get to Keila, he had to pitch to Billy Butler. And after the Alex Gordon double, Billy Butler hit a 2-run home run to tie the game. Well, Billy will not bat in this inning. One ball, 1 strike. Another good day for Alex. Another double, another RBI. 4 hits in this 2-game series, all extra base hits. stayed in on the curveball, and he drops it in front of Rios. You talk about hanging in there. He went from knees buckled to a solid base hit to center field.
Well, the one good thing he did, he kept his hands back. And if you keep your hands back, you can still do some things. And the curveball didn't go away. The curveball actually got it backed up out over the plate. And he kept his hands back and was able to force it out in the center field for a base hit.
You know what else that is too, Frank? I mean, that is just Alex Gordon's strength.
He's strong.
You think about a guy who has great strength hitting a long home run, but most hitters who take a swing like that aren't going to hardly get it past the pitcher's mouth. He was able to drive it into center field, almost hit it too hard. I thought Rios had a chance to come up and catch it.
But I was afraid it might get by him and it'd be worse than what it is. But you see, I just kept his hands back. The ball hit above the trademark. But you're right, Brian. He is a very strong man.
Tyson trying to get down a bunt, and I would think if you're a left-hand batter, this might be the last guy on the list where you would want to hang in there and have to lay down a bunt with his arm angle.
Well, it won't be easy, but you know he's got to try to bunt this ball to first base if he can.
He gets it out in front of the plate, and Pierzynski, oh boy, Mark Tien made a great scoop. The sacrifice works. Man, it could have been a lot worse for the White Sox and a lot better for the Royals.
Well, I saw right field corner with that throw. As soon as it left AT Pierzynski's hand, it was down in the dirt. He did, like I say, Dyson makes everybody rush, and Tien does a great job of picking this ball out of the dirt. You see where Pierzynski just buried this one right in the ground. It's got to be a tough angle for him with Dyson running as fast as he does, but Mark Tien saved him with the ball, with the pick out of the dirt.
Keela tied the game in the 9th inning. He had been 0 for 10, even though he lined out twice today to the outfield. And a hard slider for a strike from Chris Sale. Keela was able to muscle one over third in the 9th and then hustled for a double. Wells had the winning run at second base with one out, but Thornton was able to get out of the inning. Ground ball, and it's off of Morel's foot. Everybody is safe, and now the winning run is at third. That ball was hit very hard.
Wow, you can see the adjustment that Keela made in the last two at-bats. He's not trying to pull a ball. He went right with this pitch away to the left-hander. And Morel, that ball slices back to his right. Got on him in a hurry. He just look at that one, didn't get through the wickets right there.
It is unfair if the official score makes the decision based on a slow motion replay, because it looks a lot easier in slow motion. Winning run at third. It is an error on Morel. Inside, ball one on Francoeur. So it's a 4-error game for the White Sox. There's the winning run at third base. Alex Gordon, who opened the inning with a single. He was bunted to second base. A little bit outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
This is what Jeff Francoeur's got to get his pitch. He doesn't have to feel any pressure right now. He just got to get a ball up out over the plate and just try to drive it to the outfield.
Grounded foul. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Now the only danger of the curveball is that it forces you sometimes to hit it to the third baseman. That's really, you don't want it on the corners in this situation. So you just got to be a little patient, get your pitch, and do what you need to do.
Now back to the netting. Francoeur did not face Sale last night after Sale retired Keela. The White Sox made a pitching change. So this is the first time he faces the Chicago lefty. Sale backs off the rubber. Alex Gordon tried to get him to balk. I don't think he saw Alex, but maybe his defense told him to step off. Almost hit him. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Escobar is on deck. The Royals have won 4 straight in their last at bat, with 4 different players providing the game-winning RBI. Francoeur trying to become the 5th. Just got a piece of it.
Yeah, just a little long on the curveball, and it's almost like the White Sox are saying we want to try to get him to hit a breaking ball here and try to hit the ball on the corner. And if Alex does go, it gives us a chance to get a force out. Get a play at the plate.
Struck him out. So it comes down to Sale and now Alcides Escobar. Well, you don't want to be too hard on the Royals with a record of 4-1 to this point and all the exciting wins, but they still have a ways to go with situational hitting and getting that runner in from third base with less than 2 outs.
Well, it seems like it might be a lot easier than it really seems, but he's only 90 feet away. You need to put the ball in play, but you haven't done a good job of it to this point.
Keela takes off. The White Sox don't really care about him, and what it does for the Royals is it takes 1 force out away. The ball got away from Pierzynski for a moment, but no chance for Alex Gordon to even think about coming down the line. Pierzynski and Escobar both now have to contend with the shadows, which have moved from the seats behind home plate to now just in front of home plate. It's not that bad right now, but it will only get worse and make for a huge advantage for the pitchers.
Yeah, catchers have a hard time when it comes from light to dark. If the ball is down, in, they got to reach up and away.
Grounded to Morel. And the inning is over. The Royals had a golden opportunity. Instead, we will play 12. Second inning out of the bullpen. Got 3 ground balls in the 11th. He'll get Carlos Quentin, Alexi Ramirez, and Mark Teahan. Quentin has 3 hits today. He has driven in 3 runs, and he has 10 this season. The White Sox had a short series. Well, a 3-game series, but it was a short week for them. Only 3 games during the week. And Quentin was the player of the week. He had 7 RBIs in that series. He homered with 2 outs in the 8th inning against Robinson Tejeda. Curveball is in for a strike. You can see O'Sullivan in the bright sunshine. The hitter is in the shadows. So that's going to be a concern for both teams. At least offensively, as the advantage should go to the pitcher. Change up, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sean O'Sullivan is the 6th Royals pitcher today. 2-2. Once again, Jeff Francis was great, but he didn't earn a win. He gave up 2 runs in 6 2/3. White Sox scored 4 runs in the 9th inning against Joakim Soria. Stroke to left center field, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. So no problem for Quinton there, handling the shadows. He has his 4th hit and his 3rd extra base hit.
He picks on this curveball here, Ryan. This one stays up out over the plate, and you know that's right in his wheelhouse right there. And he drives this ball in the left center field. And I tell you, when that ball goes all the way to the wall, you know it's hit pretty good when it splits those outfielders when it's a line drive over shortstop. But just a curveball that O'Sullivan left up on a 2-2 pitch.
Royals expect a bunt from Alexi Ramirez. They have the corners in already. Ramirez has a 2-hit game today. And he squares around early and bunts it towards 3rd. The Royals were thinking about letting it roll foul, and they do not get an out. The ball just died in the grass.
It looked like a ball that was going to hit the grass, roll off the lip of the grass, and roll foul. And I think O'Sullivan played it right at. I mean, this is going to be a difficult play whether he got it or not, but that ball just died when he hit the grass.
So 1st and 3rd, nobody out for former Royal Mark Teahen. You know, you look at what Chris Sale did in the bottom of the 11th. The Royals had runners at 1st and 3rd and 1 out. And Sale got a big strikeout against Francoeur and then a ground out from Escobar to get out of the inning. But how about the play Mark Teahen made at first base? Alex Gordon singled. Gerard Dyson laid down a bunt, and A.J. Pierzynski's throw to first was in the dirt. And Teahen is not only able to block it, but he made the play to get Dyson. That ball skips by him. Gordon goes to 3rd. He might even score. And who knows where Dyson ends up. Of course, he's always limited with the runner in front of him. But here's the play that Teahen made.
Yeah, this is definitely a nice, smooth play. I mean, he just relaxed and didn't panic on that ball in the dirt. And just picked it up.
Runners will not advance, and Teahen is thrown out. So it's not what Mark wanted with a runner at 3rd, but now the White Sox have 2 in scoring position, and there's only 1 out.
Now with A.J. Pierzynski coming up when first base open, there's always an option to put him on right here.
And now the Royals will intentionally walk A.J. Pierzynski and go after the number 9 hitter Brent Morrell, setting up a righty-righty matchup. Pierzynski did not start today. Ramon Castro was the starting catcher, and he had 2 hits and a home run. So Pierzynski's legs right now, you figure, a lot fresher than Brian Pena, who's been back there all day. And here we are in the 12th inning, and fresher than the home plate umpire Jerry Lane.
How about Pierzynski just never being on the DL in his entire career? I mean, that's, as a catcher, that's just pretty awesome right there. I mean, just catching at least 1,000 innings, you know, 9 seasons in a row. I mean, how do you do it?
And now he's 25th on the all-time list for innings caught by a catcher. He just recently passed Thurman Munson. So Brent Morel with the bases loaded, 1 out. He almost kicked the inning away in the bottom of the 11th on a sharply hit ground ball from Keila Kaihue, and he lines it to right field, and it's going to bounce in front of Francoeur. 1 run is home. Ramirez comes to the plate. So Brent Morel drives in 2, and the White Sox lead by 2 in the 12th.
Well, Sullivan left the fastball up out over the plate. Morel went right with this pitch. He I think likes to hit that ball away anyway, and he just stayed on top of this, hit a line drive, and then everybody was off to the races after that ball went down the line. 2 runs scored.
Still only 1 out, and Brian Pena reminding the defense what he will do if White Sox try a double steal. You also have to be alive for a squeeze here. Juan Pierre is a very good bunter. They'll still have the infield in. He flies it to left field. Alex at the line. Pierzynski tags, and Alex's throw is not in time. Pierzynski got under the tag.
Take a look at Brian Pena right here. He's got the ball in plenty of time, but just didn't get the tag. Didn't get the tag down there. Got that foot underneath the body. Tag was high. Jerry Lane made a great call.
So 3 runs home. Morel, by the way, he tagged as well, so he goes to second base, and Gordon Beckham is at the plate. Jerry Lane has an interesting history with the Chicago White Sox with this extra inning game, and he's been back at the plate all 12 innings. Back in the 2005 World Series, he was the umpire for Game 3, the White Sox and the Astros. That was a 14-inning game, 482 pitches. It was the longest World Series game in history. Jerry Lane was back there then, and he is back there today. The White Sox get 3 in the 12th. Royals coming up with Pena, Getz, and Aviles. Four in the 9th inning. Now the Royals need 3 at least in the bottom of the 12th. 13,360 here today, and many thought the Royals would have their easiest win of the year with a 5-0 lead at the end of 4 innings and a 3-run lead in the 9th. Watch the White Sox score 4 against Joakim Soria. The Royals tied it in the bottom of the 9th, and Chicago just got 3 in the 12th. Chris Sale was able to escape the bottom of the 11th inning after the Royals had runners at first and third and 1 out. 2 balls and no strikes on Brian Pena. Two and 1. It's been a good day for the Chicago bullpen after struggling for much of the first 4 games. Tien runs over to his old dugout. Now, when he was playing first base for the Royals and he ran over there, he would get plenty of help from those guys in blue. But now that he's wearing a White Sox uniform, it's like running into a library. He's on his own.
They have to see the ball fall first, then we'll help you.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Before today, the White Sox bullpen had given up 14 runs in 12 1/3 innings. Their bullpen today has given up 1 run in 6 innings. Off of Sale's wallet, and after rolling around on the grass, he throws out Brian Pena.
It looks like one of those balls that scares you more than it hurts you at that point, and you can see he had an opportunity to get his back and hit him in the back of the leg there. And could have took a little bit more time right here, but Tien was athletic enough to come off the base and go back and make the tag. You can see right there just more of that panic of here it's coming back at me, but he stayed with it and made the play.
Sale, the first-round pick of the White Sox last year, and then got to the big leagues 2 months later. He pitched 11 games in the minor leagues. He gave up a game-tying home run in the 8th inning last night, and today he is trying to lead the White Sox to victory. Throws a strike to Chris Getz. A single, a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored for Chris Getz today. And a knee buckling slider makes it no balls and 2 strikes. Late swing, and Getz is going to have his hands full facing Sale as it is, and then he mixes in the shadows. And that is the second strikeout for Chris Sale.
He's got a very good slider. That slider he struck Francura with the winning run on third. I mean, that was an outstanding slider also.
Mike Aviles 0 for 6 today, and now 0 for his last 14. So he is at 120 at the moment. 3 out of 25. And after opening day, when he homered on opening day, he probably didn't figure that he would be here in the final game of the homestand.
Well, I agree with you. And I mean, as a hitter, you still know that you one good game from getting those numbers up, but it goes by the quality of the bat, how you hit the ball, and that's where the confidence comes from. So if you're not making good contact and not getting good swings, then you start to worry a little bit about that.
3-1. Royals need 2 base runners for a chance.
I would say to you, it must be 2 outs.
Yeah, if the Royals go about it the way the White Sox did, they have the White Sox right where they want them. If you weren't with us in the 9th inning, the Royals led by 3. They had Joakim Soria on the mound, 2 outs, nobody on base, and the White Sox scored 4. Back to Sale, who's having an adventure on the mound today, but it ends with a victory. So the Royals and White Sox split the